Hey y'all, it's Professor CHO. We have a very, very special episode of Puttin On Airs for you. We are sans Trae today because Trae is, and he won't say this, but I will. He's working on a very, very cool thing. That's all I'm going to say. This is a very excused absence. That's all I will allude to. It's a very excused absence. But in his stead, I brought back Lady Kirby, who most of you Airheads will remember from the Game of Thrones House of the Dragons episode. She is sitting in for me today, and she's actually taking the place of Professor CHO. She brought us a syllabus on the Gilded Age, not the television show, the actual period in American history. We not only talk about that, we also have a segment called Hot Goss with Lady Kirby, where she fills me in on a couple of new developments with the Kim Kardashian and Taylor Swift feud that I didn't even know was a thing. We also, up top, talk about some new Harry and Meghan news. So a very, very fancy, very, very Puttin On Airs-esque, Puttin On Airs episode, as it were. And as a bonus for everyone, to make up for the fact that Trae's not here, for the first time ever, my mother, Lady Laura, will be joining us at the very end of the episode for a full-length cooking segment. Me and my mama are making a sweet potato pie. How is that fancy? How is that trash? Oh, Lady Laura will tell you. I promise. She came prepared. She crushed it. It was a lot of fun. So without further ado, well, there's a little bit more ado. Buy our book, Round Here and Over Yonder. It is available wherever you get your books. Also, go to TraeCrowder.com to get tickets to see Trae when he comes to a city near you. But also, we'll be back together, as y'all know. The Well Read Comedy Tour is coming to Zanies in Nashville, December 14th through the 16th. Get those tickets at TraeCrowder.com. You can also pick up the book there. As for me, bonuscorey.com. That is my Substack. I do bonus podcasts. I write essays. I do audio dramas. I just finished up Colonel Cornbread and the Case of the Confederate Ruby. That was my first full-length audio drama. I'm currently working on a new one. Also, if you were a member of bonuscorey.com, you would have gotten the cooking segment with my mother early and completely ad-free. bonuscorey.com. Now, actually, with no further ado, here is Puttin On Airs with me and, frankly, someone who will end up taking my job because I know y'all like her more, Lady Kirby. Y'all enjoy. I love y'all very much. Talk to you later. Stay fancy. So did you see that Harry and Meghan are very upset with Family Guy?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so Family Guy, who, like makes fun of literally everybody, has said pretty horrible things that I will personally defend in the name of comedy because it was always going for the joke. But like, so they had this, they had this scene, this clip, and I'm not going to play it because we'll get taken down from YouTube. But it's Harry and Meghan, and they're sitting at a pool, and this like butler comes up, and he goes, Mr. Prince Harry, here's your $1 million from Netflix for doing God knows what. So that happens. And then he's like, no, thank you. Put it with the other ones. And then Meghan looks over at Harry and goes, oh my God, we have to do that. We have to do that sponsored brand ad for Del Taco. And Harry goes, I really wish I hadn't walked away from all that ridiculous nonsense, which is funny.
Yeah.
Which is funny. And Harry and Meghan have called Family Guy, bitched about it, said it was a savage attack. A savage attack. These are Harry's actual words. This was a savage, a savage and an outrageous slur, which there's no slur in it. And I guess
what he meant, like racial slur.
I guess maybe slur's different in England.
Yeah.
Like, oh, slur, like slurring him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. When I read that, I was like, wait, what slur? But yeah, so he's super, super pissed off about it. And says that, this is what he says, he feels like they're not being taken seriously enough by people and that they can't catch a break. First off, I would like to say, oh, poor Harry not being able to catch a break. Is that not very rich to hear?
Yeah,
And I want to get your thoughts on this because I'll be honest with you. I have long defended Harry and still will in a lot of regards because Harry has been very outspoken for mental health, which I think is great, especially from someone in his position. And I truly believe that, mental health does not discriminate and
Oh.
his depression is equally as valid as my depression.
Yes.
Now, granted, he's had more resources than anybody, but when it gets into shit like this, I tend to go, all right, Harry, enough is enough. How do you feel about the whole situation?
Well, I mean, Family Guy literally is like made fun of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but we're supposed to draw the line at Harry
and Meghan. Yeah, and also like Harry's been in the public eye like long enough, in my opinion, to know that like the first rule about all this stuff is that like you're making it so much worse if you act like it bothers you.
Well, yeah. Well, see, it always rubs me the wrong way. It's kind of like those celebrities that don't want to be photographed, but then they go to the notorious paparazzi hangouts.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how Harry and Meghan are.
Yeah.
Like they want to act like they don't want to be talked about and stuff, but then they put themselves purposely in situations that they're going to end up getting talked about, wrote about, made fun of.
Not only that, but like now that they're not in the royal family, they kind of, in order for them to make money, because it's not like Harry's going to go weld.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
now she's an actress, but if I'm a studio,
she's a liability.
Yeah, probably, because like, I guess there's
security, all that.
Yeah, and just like people not taking the work seriously, like I guess that on one hand you're like, oh, if we could get her and afford her, that'd be a great get because she's so popular, it'll bring a lot of eyes to this. But at the same time, like I feel like once you become the royal family, no one is going to be able to watch you play a character and separate the person from the character. I could be wrong, and maybe that's not fair.
Yeah, I mean, Ronald Reagan didn't act
go
after
back.
He was
president.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, Arnie Schwarzenegger did, but it's different. Like he is Arnold Schwarzenegger, but like I'm bringing this back around to a point. Like I don't know if I wrote something and Netflix was gonna put it out and I could cast it. I know it's a hell of a thing for me to say who's never gotten anything on air, but like I genuinely wouldn't want her in it because I'd be like, well, now that's the story. Like it's not gonna have anything to do with my work, and all the other actors are gonna play second fiddle, like you said, all the security. But back to my original point, which was like, she's not probably gonna be doing a lot of high profile acting anymore. He's not gonna go weld. They have to have people talking about them in order for them to generate money on their podcast.
They want their cake.
And yes.
I mean, they left the royal family, and I understand their issues there. But the fact is regardless of the fact that he left the royal family, he was still born into that family. So, yeah, he needs security and stuff.
Of course he does. Yeah.
I mean, for his safety, he does. So if you're going to still need that, and all of those things, you can't just ask for all the perks that the royal family gives without having the responsibility.
Right. Like it seems like very much like he wants, like you said, all the good things that come with it, but he wants to be able to go, no, monarchies are bad and I'm not a part of this, but like, please give me, you know, like I said, all the good stuff. So I don't know. Like, I've never talked to you about Harry and Meghan. I'm sure, I don't know. Like, how does mom feel? By the way, just so y'all know, later on in the episode, we got a doozy for you. Me and my mom are actually doing the first ever cooking segment on Puttin On Airs. We're making a sweet potato pie. How is that fancy? How is that trash? Me and my mom will talk about it. Mom and me have like very different opinions on the royal family, but where we agree is that like we're entertained and fascinated by them. So like, it really doesn't matter what our opinions are. So like, I have to imagine that mom since day one has been like, oh, screw Harry for all this stuff because she loves the queen so much.
Well, no, I mean, me and her are on the same side. Yeah. No, I don't. And like when you talked about mental health, I feel that for them because, you know, mental illness does not discriminate.
Of course not.
You know, it goes, you know, it doesn't matter what race you are, socioeconomic background. It does not discriminate. I know that. And his mother, I think that he has suffered with mental illness a lot like his mom. Because, I mean, his mom obviously had mental health issues. And, you know, he lost his mom at an age that is hard
and publicly, and she's the type of person that like, not that like if our mom died, I don't think there would be a day that I would go without thinking about her, but maybe there'd be moments. But with him, like, there's no moments because like
I don't want to discount his pain.
Of course
whatsoever.
not. He's still like he is still technically a human being.
Yes, yeah, but there gets to a point in your life that the world's doing their own thing, they're living, and you got to figure out a way. You got to figure out a way to coexist.
Yeah, and speaking of mental health, and I feel like I can talk about this without seeming like a douchebag because I am like I'm one of them.
Well, me too.
I know. Yeah, right. Well, I didn't know if you wanted to disclose that.
No, I don't care. I have depression and anxiety.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah,
worse than me. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe I've been medicated
longer than you.
That's true. You have been medicated longer than me. But speaking as someone with mental health issues, you can't, in my opinion, and I hate when people do it, and I try not to do it. If you have mental health issues, you can't just throw that out every time you want consequences not to affect you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's certain times when like I will see people with mental health problems and I'll see the way people are treating them, and I do think I go, hey, you shouldn't be treating that person like that because they got a lot going on or whatever. But if the person with mental health problems is just being an outright dickhead or being a pissy baby, like it doesn't give you a pass.
My depression and anxiety does not give me a pass to be a rude person.
Right. And all of his issues doesn't give him a pass to not be, because they're not making fun of his mental health issues. If they were making fun of his mental health issues, I would be like, come on, guys. I mean, you're allowed to do whatever you want, but like, don't do that. But like, you're allowed, like, bruh, you're in the public light. You're a royal. This is actually, for Seth MacFarlane, like, not that big of a shot at you. Like, it could be so much worse.
They could have brought up him in the Nazi uniform.
They could have brought up him in the Nazi uniform. They could have brought up the fact that a lot of people think that Charles isn't his dad and Princess Diana had an affair. They could have brought up cousin fucking. They could have brought up so many things. But, like, the two things that they brought up, and the reason he's so mad about it is because they hit close to home. It's true. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
And, like, again, if Harry had heard this and came out and just been like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, word.
It would have been funny. But I don't know. I'm glad that we're on the same page of that. Because again, I've been like reluctant to talk about Harry because I do have a little bit of a soft spot for his mental health battles. And also like,
that's kind of how I'm about Britney Spears right now.
For sure. Oh, I know. I've treaded lightly. Oh, we can talk about that. That works on this show. I've treaded lightly on that because here's the deal. And I'm glad you're here. I want a woman's perspective on this. I knew at the time that late night shows were making fun of Britney Spears, but I was real young. I was super young. I was a dumb man. And also I think there's a time in everybody's lives when you haven't realized yet that Britney Spears is a person. Like when we're kids, it's a famous person. They're not real. That's not, the president's not real. None of these people are real. And the late night talk show host, this is just how it goes. Like they make fun of everybody, whatever.
They were terrible. I watched something on Paris Hilton. I remember when Oprah,
I'm more fine with that, but
yeah, but actually, if you really will watch like her documentary and hear some of her story, you really wouldn't be. But
okay,
the Olsen twins weren't even 18 years old. Oprah's asking them how much they weigh.
It's funny you say this.
The way that we, as a society, because how we talk on the internet and think that, well, I say we, I don't. I swear to God, I don't.
You're a genuine sweet soul.
Well, I don't comment on the internet on people, on celebrities.
Right.
Like, people will just say these things like oh, well, this is what you signed up for.
Yeah, right. And it's like, that is a little true, but that doesn't, like, yes, that's true. You know that if you're going to be a celebrity, this is going to happen, but that doesn't make it happening okay. You know what I'm saying? But like, yes, I go back and watch like Leno, Letterman, all these dudes. And then I guess what it was I looked at what the year was and I looked up how old Britney Spears was. And I was like, oh, that makes it so much worse. Like, this is a child that they're saying all these crazy, dude, Lindsay Lohan, like all these people.
Oh, yeah.
And so with Britney.
Oh, Lindsay Lohan, there was a countdown until she turned 18,
and
too.
With the Olsen twins, too. We talked about this on Well Read last week. And that's right. And it like kind of like, it's not that it just now hit me, but I just now like internalized like, because here's the thing. Nowadays, stuff like that still goes on, but it's like in the fringes of society. It's like if it's like a bunch of like Barstool Sports dudes.
Yeah.
No offense to those guys, but you get what I'm saying. Like dudes who are trying to be edgy still do that kind of stuff. But back then, it was like on the Today Show or whatever. Like it was mainstream. We're full out saying, yo, these 2 8-year-old girls, one day they're going to be hot blondes. And that's the only thing. That's the only thing that we could think of them as, right? So what I meant to say was earlier, I've been biting my tongue on Britney Spears, even just talking about I would never make a video making fun of Britney Spears. Like first off, I've got a lot more important things to make fun of. Secondly, I love Britney Spears. Thirdly, she's clearly got mental health issues. However, it's
so sad.
It's so sad. However, I'll be honest with you, seeing her dance with all the knives, I'm starting to go back on my thoughts on the whole conservatorship. I'm like, baby, I don't know. Like, I don't know if we should have freed her.
Yeah.
Like, but again, I don't think any of this is her fault. Like,
no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that if any human being went through what Britney Spears went through, they would be criminally insane.
How do you feel about Justin Timberlake?
It's not good. I mean, now here's the thing. Here's the only saving grace that I'll say. He was also a kid. And now what he did was horrible. A lot of those things he did was horrible.
I don't even mean necessarily the pressure to have the abortion. I mean, I think that's terrible. But the way that he purposely let the narrative be that she broke his heart.
Here's my thing on him.
And make her the bad girl.
I'm not mad or upset at past Justin Timberlake for doing those things because he was a kid. He'd been famous since he was a child. So like in his brain, he's doing just whatever his publicist tells him to do. You know what I'm saying? Like they're saying, hey, do this. And he's just got one foot after the other, whatever. My problem is now adult Justin Timberlake, who knows better, hasn't, like, to my knowledge, come out and been like, so like saying, hey guys, leave Britney alone, or hey, I did these wrong things. And there's kind of a pattern with him. He didn't speak up for Janet Jackson either.
No, I know that's. I could go down the rabbit hole on that. I've been disappointed in Justin Timberlake for a while,
right?
But like I said, him making the narrative where she's the bad girl, him not,
and he's the all shucks little,
and like, okay, have you heard the theory about her song Every Time?
No, I don't know that song. Sing it for us. The whole thing.
I can't. No. But it's basically, it's a sad song and the video's sad. And like in the song, it says like, I guess I need you, baby. And like fans have put it together. She's talking about her pregnancy. And in the video, she attempts to kill herself.
Wow.
And it's like when you watch that video and now you know about how she had an unplanned, but in her heart wanted pregnancy.
Right. And how old was she? Like 19 or 20?
Yeah.
Yeah, like a kid.
Yes. Like old
enough.
It's
if a 19 or 20-year-old killed someone, I wouldn't call him a kid. But when all these bad things are happening to him, I still think of him as a kid.
Yeah. And obviously they had the financial, they weren't like regular 18, 19, 20-year-olds who the average that might not have as much support. I mean, financially they had it, and I understand Justin Timberlake, wasn't ready. You know that literally while she was like...
Oh, there's nothing wrong with them wanting to get it done or having it done.
Yes, no. It's just, but it's still, abortion's a tragedy.
Of course.
You know.
Right.
And...
even if it's done right and a good thing,
yes,
it's still something
hard decision.
It's still something you don't want to have to do.
Yeah, and so, ultimately, he made that decision for her.
Right.
And then knowing that he went on and then had kids with somebody. I mean, that's enough to...
And it's not just him making that decision. I mean, it's her manager, all these people, and like in her brain, because these people have controlled her life and, continued to until a couple years ago.
Her actual voice.
Wait, what?
Literally if you listen to recording, that's another thing too. She has like a baby voice now.
Yeah.
And like her singing, when she first started singing, like before like Baby One More Time came out, when she was just singing, like trying to get famous, she didn't have a baby voice.
So they
literally made her into this sexy child.
Hold on. Did they is it some form of because we've talked about this on the show, how they used to, the castratos, Like they would take young boys and they would cut their
No.
like.
They just made her practice singing like that,
Okay,
and that's
okay.
just
Well,
her voice.
that's way better than what I
No.
thought. I thought they were like went in there and squeezed her ovaries or something.
No. Well, maybe, but
Yeah.
no evidence of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Mhm.
But anyways, yeah, man, Hollywood turns out, a lot of bad people,
Mhm.
a lot of, and the paparazzi, scum of the earth, which goes back, and again though, it is one of those things where you go, well, is the paparazzi a necessary evil? It's like, I know all these people at some point want their picture taken because like you want to be famous.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a lot of people really don't want to be famous. Like that's the thing. People go,
They like the art.
they're
not trying to be
right.
famous.
Like, so when a lot of people go, this is what you signed up for. I could see some people defend it and going, actually, no, I didn't. I wanted to make really good things. And because I did make really good things, I got famous.
Yeah.
But like all I ever wanted to do.
Yeah. Like, okay. Like what's his face? Gangs of New York.
Yeah. Martin Scorsese.
No.
Leo. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Which, I mean, the paparazzi's not hanging out at his house, but
No.
I'm saying, like,
well, he'll cut their head off.
Yeah, he went.
Yeah.
Like, he is an artiste.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Is like he's kind of proof that you can go without it. It's just like though you said, oh, these people hang out at all these paparazzi hotspots. It's like it must suck to be like, I can't go here, I can't go here, I can't go here.
Yeah, but there's like certain like what's it called in LA?
Rodeo Drive.
No, is it the Grove?
That's Ole Miss, I think.
Yeah, but there's something like that.
Yeah, I believe you.
In LA, that's like a notorious.
They just hang out there, so if you go there.
It's basically like a Times Square, like
right. It makes sense that I wouldn't know where it is because I go to LA a lot, but no one ever asked me to go to the cool places.
Yeah,
like I'm always just in the studio doing a podcast, and then they're just like, okay, all the cool people over here, Corey, go that way.
I've never been to LA. This is just from my.
Oh, you'd hate it.
Yeah. Oh, I know I would.
You'd like if you went with me, you would like it because I'd just take you to Burbank and like all the cool spots. But like that whole culture of people wanting to go to LA for like where they do the Walk of Fame or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like that is a filthy, horrible place. No offense to anybody who lives there, but you know it to be true. Like around the Chinese Theater, like it's just Gatlinburg, but real hot. Mm-hmm. Like it's the Gatlinburg for Hollywood,
Yeah, I don't have any desire to go to California.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of places in California would love.
I mean LA.
Yeah. Like I said, you would love Burbank if I took you around, but like LA itself is like it's very.
Well, I don't like traffic,
it's
and
horrible.
It's not a walking city.
Yeah, no.
Like I'd like.
No, if you walk there, people think you're poor.
Yeah, if I'm going to a city, I want it to be like a walking city, like Chicago or New York.
So you have no intention of becoming famous? So if you do well in this podcast and you get famous, you can honestly say I didn't sign up for this?
I mean, if I got famous all of a sudden, I'd be scared to be famous.
Yeah, but it's like if you,
because I don't want anyone to know like my personal life.
I think a lot of people think that literally everyone in show business wants to be famous. And now maybe this is just me, and I know it'd be you too. But if like Mr. Hollywood, whoever the president is, came up to me and said, hey, you can be rich and famous, or you can just be rich. I'd go rich, rich. Like, and I would take less money. Like if they said you could be famous and you'll make $1 billion, or you can make $500 million, but people only saw you when you wanted to be seen, nobody would be in your space, and I'd be like, dude, I'll take $1 million in that.
I can't imagine like I talk to like my friends about like my personal life and stuff, but like you see all these people like on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and they just like let everyone know like what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not that way. Like no one knows what's going on with Laura James, like,
right.
Whatever. So like, I can't imagine that just being a free for all.
I can't either, because like I'm in that world in the sense that like I operate the same way because I am a public figure, and like I'm in order to sell tickets to shows, people have to know who I am, and in order to get people to subscribe to my audio dramas, people I have to put all that out there, and it's hard on me, and I don't get it even a half of a fraction as much as like literal celebrities.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even mean like the stratosphere people. I mean like, you know, just your run of the mill, like, I don't know, our buddy Dan Soder, who's on Billions, a comedian. He's not Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'm sure he gets a lot of shit. And like, bruh, like Leonardo DiCaprio, I know has a charmed life. Like the guy can do whatever he wants, but at the same time, he's been so famous for so long. Like I remember Britney Spears was even talking about in one of her videos, she was like, y'all have no idea. And it was like, at first you hear it, it sounds stupid, but then you think about it and you're like, man, that is sad. She's like, you have no idea how much I would kill to be able to go by myself to Starbucks. That's it. Like, just that's the fantasy for me.
Have you seen where Michael Jackson rented out a grocery store so he could grocery shop?
Yeah. And again, you look at that and you go, man, if I had the amount of money to be able to do that, I'd never complain. But also, I guess, in a way, stepping back from it, sometimes I think we all take our anonymity for granted because, like, I'm a public figure, but I still have a lot of anonymity. Like, around here, I go out and people, you will know who I am or whatever, but that's like, duh, I live here. But then Chattanooga, same thing. Depending on the city, like if I'm in, you know, Knoxville, Asheville, anywhere in Texas, these are our hot spots. Yeah, I'm gonna probably run into somebody that's like, "Are you the buttercream?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like for the most part, I can do whatever I want all the time, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I love doing that, and I can't imagine that being taken away from me.
No,
like I can't imagine if I wasn't able to go to McKay's with my headphones in, listening to Mozart or a podcast or whatever I do, looking for my little play anthologies without having to sign it up, the airport, all that stuff.
Well, I can't imagine just like me being out and about and like the snapshots that would be like taken of me. Cause literally I'm just like all the time. Like if I'm driving, like I'm picking my nose.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll eat it.
Well, I sure am glad that that me bringing up the whole Harry and Meghan thing spurred that entire conversation, which I thought was wonderful. But we do have a lot more things to talk about, and we're going to get to all. I have another thing to ask you about, and then why don't you tell everybody what you're covering today? You are Professor CHO. You're taking my role. You have taken notes. You have brought a subject to the show, and that subject is
the Gilded Age in America.
That's right. Not the TV show, although we do love it.
Yeah. And I can briefly just say.
Sure. I'd love to hear it. But that'll be later. I got another thing to ask her, and that's all right after this. Y'all, I want to talk to you about our good friends over at Mood, and I'm super pumped because if you're an old school enjoyer of the cannabis, of the THC, then you're going to love this too. The new product, THCA flower, the old school flower, baby. Let's get to the point. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Mood is known for their federally legal THC, but now they're adding to their most potent product yet to the lineup, introducing hemp-based THCA flower, the future of legal THC, folks. Try it along with all of Mood's other amazing offerings like the Delta 8 flower, gummies, vape cartridges. Y'all know I love the gummies. I've extolled their virtues many a times. And for a limited time, Mood is giving our listeners a free gram. That is right. A free gram of THCA flower and 20% off on your first order. All you got to do is visit hellomood.com and use our code POA. Guys, y'all know that I love Mood. Who don't love Mood? When it's time to get in the mood. When me and my wife I didn't mean it in that way, but whenever me and my wife are going to watch a movie, I holler at Mood. I chew a little bit of it whenever I'm about to go into maybe a meeting that I wasn't prepared for. I have me a little Mood, and it just gets me in the mood. And it's not, to me, it's not like, oh my God, where am I? I'm on the moon. It is just such a controlled, nice, mellowed out situation that I'm a huge, huge fan of. All right. The latest, most potent breakthrough is the THCA flower. All right. And these are THC products you can trust, y'all. Mood puts an end to the guessing games with federally legal forms of THC extracted from hemp plants. All their products are regularly third-party tested. All right. They're all the time. They're just like, hey, somebody else come in here. Tell me this don't hit. Oh, it does hit? Yeah, that's what I thought. Drug Enforcement Agency registered labs. All right. So you're getting the good stuff, and it is safe. It is sourced from small family farms and grown organically. All the words that we progressive love. I'll tell you that much right now. The experts at Mood have tested and tailored different strains for specific moods. That's the best. You want euphoric? You got it. You want energized? You got it. Creative? Chill? Okay, sign me up. A lot of versatile products. However you like to take it, THC Mood has you covered. All right, great for both beginners and veterans user. And as I said, try Mood's new THCA flower today, and you get 20% off your first order and a free gram of the THCA flower by going to hellomood.com and use the promo code POA. That's hello, MOOD.com, promo code POA for 20% off your order and a free gram of THCA flower. You can't beat it, y'all. All right, we're back. While we were on break, you just started going off on Kim Kardashian, and I'd actually been wanting to ask you for a long time about like keeping up with the Kardashians, because I know that you're a fan of the show.
I am.
You are, right? And I would now that you've sort of gone off on her, I would like to just offer the microphone up to you to give your spiel on what you were just saying, and then if at any point in there or afterwards you can explain to me why you like this garbage show. Now, hold on. Before I will say, I've made fun of you for it for years, but then I had the realization that I like wrestling and it's not much different. So go ahead.
Well, I actually haven't watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians in a few years, and I think one of the reasons why is because they're so accessible via social media that, like,
what's the point?
Yeah, well, it's like by the time the show comes out, it's like, well, we've already heard about all this and seen the clip.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
like used to it wasn't like that, but now it's like this is old news.
Yeah, it's old news. But like I still like to like follow like what they're doing and all that. And
is it in a I really want to just not interrupt you and let you talk, but I have to know, like, is it in the similar way to where, like, I love following the royals, but I don't like them as people. They're just entertaining to me. Is this the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just like am interested in what she wears, like her photo shoots, because I mean she's beautiful.
She is beautiful.
Yeah, but she's just messed with herself too much. Her and Chloe.
Do you mean like plastic surgery wise?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've never noticed him looking different. Well, Chloe looks remarkably different, but that's only because I'm like Kim kind of. When I learned about Kim Kardashian was because of the Ray J shit. To me, she hasn't changed much, but Chloe, when she got famous,
she lasered her baby hairs.
Okay, put a pin in that and go back to it. But when I was introduced to Chloe was like a little chubby kid. So like she's definitely changed. But hold on, what do you mean she's lasered her baby hairs?
Well, it's been a while back, but like since which I mean I have them, but not like how like Black people or
the little teeny fuzzes that come out.
Middle Eastern people have, and since she's half Armenian,
right?
She had like how a lot of like Iranian, Indian women have, Middle Eastern women, they have the like baby hairs and stuff, and like they're cute,
right?
And she lasered them off because she was trying to be more white, I guess, than Armenian at the time. Well, then when she started to like blackfish, basically, she started.
What does that mean?
Basically appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
She literally started like pulling her hair out and trying to make baby hairs
come back.
Yeah, like kind of like how Black girls have baby hairs. Like she was, when in reality she had them, she just lasered them off.
So like at one point she was like, gross, I don't want these. I want to be like more mainstream beautiful. And then that became like cool. So she was like, oh, let me have it back.
Yeah.
But it's like her body's rejecting it because it's like you shaved them off. Like you can't do this.
If you look at her before she started doing all that, like you could look at her face and see that like she's not 100% white.
Right.
And like, and which was one of the things that made her beautiful.
Of course.
And
yeah, I don't think any of us
now she appropriates Black culture, but picks and chooses the things that she wants to be white about herself?
Like, explain to me, because I don't I know of Kim Kardashian and I see her all the time, but I won't say I immediately turn away, but like it doesn't pique my interest or whatever. So like, what do you mean? Like what types of black fishing, which is a term I've never heard. What all does she do?
Well, I mean, obviously the injections in her butt.
Okay.
Her
Oh, right.
lips.
Hey, you know what's funny about that is like, forgive me if I'm wrong, but like when she first came on the scene, like I said, the Ray J thing, like she had a freaking huge butt. Like that was the thing that separated her. So like, why has she got to do
more to it?
Yeah.
I know. I don't know.
Because
it looks like a pillow in her pants.
Yeah, and I guess this is just my ignorance. Like I thought, like I didn't know she did anything to it. Like I've always just thought, like, God damn, no, she's just blessed.
No, it's gotten like insane. Well, if you saw the picture of her years ago with the champagne glass.
Yeah, but I just assumed that the picture itself was doctored up.
Yeah, no.
And yes, boy, I did see that. And I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And again, like, maybe this is me being stupid and certainly not like fetishizing or whatever, but like me and all the dudes who were into her, like, yeah, part of what made her really hot was that she wasn't just the average white girl. She was
like Princess Jasmine.
Exactly. That's
like
a great.
Literally, Princess Jasmine.
Like that's kind of who I'm like. Yeah,
like
she's
in the red outfit.
Yeah. So like, why and you know, to each their own or whatever. But I'm like, we don't want you to be white. We got enough white ladies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's. I don't know. I still like her.
But why what do you mean? What do you like about her? You're entertained by her. You like what she's about.
I know. I like watching like the clips of like her and her sisters. Like,
are they funny? Are they like fighting. Legit funny?
Yeah. I mean, like things they do are like funny sibling things. Like, right. I enjoy that.
How much of it seems fake to you though? Like a put on.
Some of it does, but then some of other stuff, it's like
you're like, you can't fake that stupid.
Well, yeah. Well, some things it's like they're in a situation or a conversation that like transcends financial status. Like poor people have that same conversation. Celebrities, they're just like us.
I did not think that you were going to be like Kim Kardashian just transcends.
I just feel like there's things that like there's scenes with their family that are relatable.
All right.
There's so much crap. Then it's like immediately after that, they're like, let's go get on the private jet. And then it's like, okay, you're back to not relatable.
I should have mentioned at the very beginning, this segment is called Hot Goss with Lady Kirby. I did. Now, by the way, not that I have to justify talking about the Kardashians on this show, because we have made it very clear that like they are very much a part of like the Venn diagram, because like they are considered fancy for America. Like they're royalty.
Everything goes back to Kardashian. Literally, Robert Kardashian dated Priscilla Presley.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Which makes sense. Like he was a hot dick lawyer and a beautiful man.
Kim did not have to take it from behind from Ray J. Like, I know, like, it catapulted, but I'm just saying, like, if she would have just chilled for a second, and that was the beginning of the age of reality television, all they had to do is literally go to a network and pitch the fact that they're family friends with the Hiltons.
Her dad was the OJ guy.
Her dad was the OJ guy. Her dad dated, Priscilla Presley. Bruce Jenner's my stepdad.
Right.
Who literally was married
to
Elvis's ex-girlfriend.
That really is so crazy. Like how much of pop culture is, like you said, goes back to them.
So she really didn't have to do Ray J.
Of course not. And I'm sure that, like, I know a lot of people probably think, like, she did that just to get famous. And it's like, I'm pretty sure she would have fucked somebody aside from Ray J.
Well, it's just like by the way, married to Chris Humphries.
Yeah, right. Because, by the way, that was also the first time I'd ever heard of Ray J.
Yeah.
Like, I heard of Ray J because...
he was just Brady's brother.
Yeah, okay. but I guess, like... when that happened and she became popular, it was like, well, now there's definitely going to be reality shows. But she definitely could have got it before then or whatever. But go back to what we were talking before break. There's some new, I don't know if I want to say it's new Kim Kardashian stuff, but like our worlds sort of like collided because you were like, hey, have you seen what the Barstool Sports guy said? He's a big Swiftie, which I think I knew that, but it goes back to the Kardashians. So would you please explain to me and to the viewers what all this is that's going on? Because I had no idea about any of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's going on is, so David Portnoy. Dave Portnoy, he's a big Swiftie, which I love when guys are Swifties.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like Taylor Swift as a whole is like someone that like, you know, those girls that aren't like other girls.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they like to hate on Taylor Swift and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Well, as you know, I'm a Swiftie and have
Yeah,
been. Like,
yeah.
like you could look into the camera and tell them I've loved her since her first album.
I know.
We were
sings about you in a song.
She does. Stay Beautiful,
Yeah.
which is my favorite Taylor Swift song.
Corey's eyes are like a jungle. He smiles. It's like the radio.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's my favorite Taylor Swift song, and I've loved her for a long time. And now it's to the point where, like, if you're a dude and you say that you like Taylor Swift, it's people think that you're doing a bit or something. And listen, I'm not a quote unquote Swiftie because I don't worship anybody. Like, I'm not. Okay, go ahead. You got something.
That just reminds me, I saw a Reddit post where like it's a thing, like you said, you like Taylor Swift, where like people have to feel the need to make fun of guys for liking stereotypically girl things.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I saw this Reddit post where it was one of the like, "Am I the asshole?" posts.
Yeah. That's the best. That's the best thing.
The guy was like, "Am I the asshole for doing this to my server?" And so immediately when I saw that, I thought, okay, yes,
for sure you are. Yeah.
Like, people are terrible to servers. They deserve everything. Well, no, he was not the asshole. Or
Okay.
I want to know if you think he's the asshole.
Okay.
So he was at a bar and he had his son with him. His son was like 14 or something, and they were watching a football game. Just
is the
hanging
kid
out.
like at the bar?
They were.
Who knows? Yeah. Either way, it's fine.
They were just like at a Chili's.
Either way, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he, the server comes up, asks what they want to drink. Kid says a Coke, and he says, I'd like a pina colada. And the server was just like, okay.
Like, made fun of him?
Like made fun of him.
Yeah.
And so, like, he was like, you know, God, I just want to have a drink, watch the game. I like pina coladas.
By the way, ain't a thing wrong with that.
No. So what does he do? This is so... She comes back with the pina colada.
Oh, it was a girl server.
Yes, a girl server.
Yeah, that hurts so much worse.
Yeah, she comes back with the pina colada, and he takes a drink, and he goes, like that right there. And she looks at him, and he was like, my mother's favorite drink was pina colada. And once a year, I have one in her memory to remember her. And literally, like, she just like looked at him and was in shock and I guess embarrassment and like walked off, like didn't know what to do. And so he said for the remainder of the time I was there, I would purposely like make her come back. I'd be like, oh, I need a straw.
Yeah.
So she would have to face me. But that's what
my mom really loved bowls of pickles. Can you make that happen? No, that dude's not an asshole. That dude's a legend. That is awesome.
No, I know. Yeah.
And you know what's off topic a little bit, but like a pina colada and stuff like that, it's all about context because no dude would get making fun of if he was like, let's say, on a cruise and had a pina colada, or like just at the on a boat and had a pina colada. No, everybody be like, well, that's when you have them. But like, if you just want to enjoy one at a bar during a game, you're a prick or a pussy or whatever it is. Like,
why are we shaming people for just what they like?
Yeah,
what tastes good? Okay, like I love mimosas.
Me too.
And I'm a big mellow yellow drinker. And so,
I see where this is going.
So I decided to make a drink with mellow yellow and champagne, and I've been calling it a mimosa.
A mimosa. I don't mind me a mimosa.
Yeah. I mean, like I've been made fun of a little bit for. It's delicious.
By who? The trash that we hang out with, because they don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah, I mean, agree.
Diabetes took it.
Yeah. But I mean, I encourage the Airheads to try a mimosa. It's delicious.
Well, there you have it. I think that might be the first official drink of the Airheads. Aunt Tiff, you'll have to get that on the Reddit. She's our Reddit moderator.
Oh, what's that, Tiff?
Aunt Tiff and Radical Riley. They moderate our Reddit for us, so we'll have to do some sort of poll. I don't know exactly how Reddit works. I'm more of a lurker than anything.
Mm-hmm. That's vodka too, and I mean it hits.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's a mimosa. Well, back to our point, you were talking about. I wanted to be caught up on like the new Kim Kardashian Taylor Swift stuff.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Dave Portnoy goes on a rant because evidently, so Taylor Swift and Britany Mahomes. You know, Britany Mahomes is.
Patrick Mahomes is for our Airheads that don't know anything about sports. Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs and arguably the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want anybody coming at me for that. I'm not saying that he's replaced Tom Brady as far as like the GOAT of all GOATs for Super Bowl, but like in terms of athletically, how we see this game played, I don't think there's ever been anyone as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm saying that. I'll get hate for it.
Yeah, well, and like, I kind of have like a soft spot for his wife because I'm pretty sure they were like high school sweethearts.
Yeah, oh, they were.
Yeah. So in other words,
he's like very stereotypical in that way of like an athlete, like where like he's been the same girl. I'm pretty sure he's a God-loving guy.
She loved him when he was nobody. Like she's reaping the benefits.
They're the American couple.
Yes, yeah, and so it's easy to like people like that when you know like they didn't just show up when they're loaded,
And he's great.
Yeah, like he seems real sweet.
His brother don't hit. I don't know if you know anything about his brother.
No. His with the sexual allegations.
Oh, I didn't even know about that. He's just annoying on TikTok. Like he dances and stuff, and I don't like that.
Yeah, no, he's been accused of I don't want to say it's not sexual battery, but like unwanted touching.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's also shitty to servers, which like tells you all you need to know about a person. If someone is shitty to servers, they can't. I've never heard anybody go, he's really shitty to servers, but otherwise he's a great person. No, he's probably not. Like there's no way. That is like such an indicator.
I know. Like Lloyd's so strict about the server situation that I could be like, hey, I need a cup of ranch, and he'll be like,
no, me too.
And I'm like, well. I mean, they're not mad that I'm asking for that.
Right.
And also, I'm a good tip. I don't go out to eat that much. So when I go, I always tip.
I tip at least 50%, like every time.
But like Lloyd, literally, they could give him everything wrong, and he'd be like, maybe this is what God wanted me to have fish instead of steak today.
Yeah, I saw this.
And who am I to say anything?
One of my favorite tweets I ever saw was like, or it was a reply to a tweet. Someone said, quiet dudes that are with mouthy gals. Yeah. Why do y'all do it? And he said, because I didn't order the mashed potatoes, but I ain't telling the server that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
but what was I going to say? I too am very strict on it, which is honestly why having Amber in my life is great, because she is a server. Like she does that. So like I'll let her take care of it, because I'm like, she's going to talk to them exactly the way that they should be talked to. Whereas like I'm overly gracious. Like to me, they can't make a mistake. And Amber's like, no, they fucked up. You can call them on it. Just do it like this. You know what I mean?
I mean, and I'm not a server, so I mean, Airheads that are servers, y'all answer this for me. Even if someone kind of has like weird requests and kind of might be a little needy, as long as they're friendly, nice to you, treat you with respect, and tip well, then it all evens out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the tip's for. Like, I think if you're a type of person that you're needy and have like, you have to factor that into your 15% is not good enough.
Yeah.
Like 15% to me is like they did the job exactly right, but that's base level. Like 15% to me is the lowest you should ever give. Not like, because some people think it's the highest, but and if you're needy,
I don't tip less than 15% ever.
I know that. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if you're someone who's needy and you know all this stuff about you, I kind of think you've got to go 40% or north of 40 every time. Like, I really do.
I'll do that, but I do good.
But you're not needy, is what I'm saying.
Well, I do ask if the ranch is homemade.
Yeah, but if they say no, you don't tell them, like, well, bitch, get back there and make some. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just want to know.
Asking questions is totally fine. And Ken's is a wonderful substitute. I keep derailing you. The current Kim Kardashian Taylor Swift situation.
Okay, so Britany Mahomes, has become friends with Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, who plays for the Chiefs.
Yeah, tight end. Is he daddy?
Yeah, and so they're friends. Well, Britany Mahomes just and her family, like her husband and kids, just did an ad campaign for Skims, which is Kim Kardashian's company.
What do they do? What does Skims do? Is it like a face mask?
No, it's like pajamas, underwear.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
do you have some?
No, it's.
Well, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. I guess.
No, they have dupes though. Like I could have a dupe.
What's a dupe?
Like a knockoff, like a knockoff. A duplicate.
Oh, a duplicate.
Yeah, like dupe. It's not.
Oh, I thought dupes was like a specific, because Amber, like, y'all, women's clothing is so foreign to me that like y'all have names for stuff that we don't. Like Amber told me the other day, she goes, and please tell me if you know what she's talking about. She's like, I got to go to the mall. I was like, what are you getting? She goes, I need a new shacket.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
It's just like a flannel coat that's thicker. So it's like a coat, but it's made like a button up.
But what? Oh, so shirt, jacket.
Shacket.
Okay. All right.
Shacket.
I love that. Actually, I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah,
I've got a lot of shackets.
Yes, you are a shacket boy.
I'm a shacket boy. Yeah, I shacket all the time, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Skims.
Yeah, so she did that for Skims. So like Dave Portnoy's like, WTF, what's going on?
Britany Mahomes was a model for Skims.
Yes. Well, and basically everyone with a pulse knows that Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian have had their issues. Because,
and see, I didn't. I knew that she had beef with Kanye, but I wouldn't necessarily always like. I don't want Amber to have to. I don't want Amber to have to take on all the bullshit that I've done.
Well, but she didn't have a problem with Kim when that Kanye thing happened. Kim and Kanye weren't together when that happened,
right?
But what happened was Kanye had a song where in the song he says something about Taylor Swift, and he says basically, I screwed her. I made that bitch famous. And in the song...
What? Like he made her famous?
Yes, like he made her famous.
Granted, she wasn't the Taylor Swift now that she was then.
Yeah,
but
he didn't catapult that.
I mean, how can you make someone famous when they were winning an award and that's when you interrupted them?
What's annoying about Kim taking his side is that her of all people... Which, first of all, Taylor Swift didn't sleep with Kanye. But
she would never.
But just the having that in a sentence together, Kim Kardashian should feel for someone that basically is being used as an example of how a woman can't get anywhere unless she sleeps with somebody.
Right.
Because that was the whole thing with Kim Kardashian is, oh, well, she's only famous because she slept with Ray J. So you think she'd have a little sympathy towards that.
You would.
But
also the fact that, look, all respect to Kim Kardashian for making something of herself, even though she was already rich or whatever the fuck. But Taylor Swift is also undeniably a global icon who is even if you don't like her songs, she writes every single one of them. Mega talented individual.
So transcends again. She
does transcend.
She transcends all genres of music.
She does. And I'm not, listen.
And Kanye does.
Listen when I say this, because I don't mean they're equal in terms of talent or whatever.
No.
But Taylor Swift is an Elvis-like figure.
Yes.
She makes people lose their mind. Beatles, I know not the same, but people.
Yeah, we're not talking about talent. We're talking about presence.
There's people. There's musicians who people are fans of, and then there's musicians who make people feel things and go literally psychotic crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Taylor Swift army or what, the Swifties. There's some mentally deranged people in there. That only happens if you're a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
please don't ever start.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, he wrote that song, and before he released it, he called Taylor Swift to get her permission. Well, and Kim Kardashian recorded it. Well, in the recording...
Did she tell him she was recording it?
No. So
illegal.
It's illegal.
Felony.
Well, that's why he was saying she deserves to go to jail. Dave Portnoy was like, she's a rat. She should be in jail. Yeah, that's why. But, well, in the edited clip, it sounds like Taylor's agreeing to it. Well, so when the song came out, Taylor Swift was mad about it. And she that's when she said, I've been trying to be excluded from this narrative for years, and they bring me into it. So Kim Kardashian got mad, and she released the tapes.
An edited version
on her Snapchat to make it look like Taylor Swift was lying.
Okay, she should go to jail.
Yeah, and then years later, the full tape comes out, and you find out. Because even at the time, I'll say
what was she saying on the tape, the full tape, Taylor, in your words?
Kind of awkwardly laughing.
But
she never gave permission.
Right. It was just kind of are y'all really fucking calling me right now?
Yeah.
What is going on?
You can tell she's just not a confrontational person.
Right.
But I remember at the time when I saw the edited version, I literally thought, well, Taylor Swift's a rat. Like she's trying to play the goody and,
Oh, you thought this?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow. You know what? I don't really remember all this, but I probably heard it and probably thought the same thing. Oh, well, come on. You don't get to have it both ways.
In my head, I wasn't thinking, oh, well, this is edited. I just thought, well, this is on tape.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So at the time, I thought, well, she's just trying to play good girl and all this. Well, come find out, that's not the case. But so that's what the big deal has been like. Oh, so Britany Mahomes, you're supposed to be Taylor Swift's friend, but then you just did this campaign for Kim Kardashian. So, like, whose friend are you? And then Dave Portnoy says maybe she did it months ago before she became friends with Kim.
It's fair.
But he said us Swifties deserve an answer, and we need to report to Mother.
Well, and I mean, like, here's the thing, though. They're being made out to be friends because they're at the same games and stuff, but like we don't know like the actual level.
Of them holding hands, going to dinner together. And
okay,
so,
but again, she could have done it months ago. But also, I
don't think she get that back.
And we also don't know. Not that I give a fuck. We don't know. Britany Mahomes might have told Taylor Swift, "Hey, listen."
We don't. Well, that's why Dave was just like, we need to know what's going on.
Hey, this is a big business opportunity for me. Yeah. And Lord knows we need the money since my husband isn't the highest paid quarterback of all time. Well, he's not technically right now, but he will be on his next contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a bad look. I'll be honest with you. Like, if there was someone purporting to be my best friend or whatever, and then they went, and I don't have an enemy like Kim Kardashian or Kanye West, but like I would be like, really? Like, especially if this person was otherwise loaded and didn't need the money, I'd be like, what are you fucking doing?
But I also know too that not everything is just a part. Like, sometimes you're owed somebody's manager something,
for sure,
or whatever. Like, it might not just be a personal decision. It might be like, hey, under contract, we're supposed to, with this photographer, we're supposed to do so with him, and he's doing this shoot next week, and so
absolutely, there's so much of that stuff that goes on that you have no earthly idea.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there've been plenty of times where, like, I've done a podcast with someone or whatever, and then found out later that, like, oh, they're affiliated with this network who is run by this evil person. Where I'm like, dude, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, I just say yes to stuff, then I go on, and again, I ain't nothing. Britany Mahomes is like in the stratosphere or whatever. Well, I thank you for catching us up on that. This has been Hot Goss with Lady Kirby, and we will be right back right after this to talk about
the Gilded Age.
That's correct. Y'all, cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor, or maybe we are. I have no idea. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. And they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device that does just that. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy, makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. This is your boy, the CHO. Y'all know that I love my Fume. I've often said that it's like oxygen plus. Why just breathe regular air when you can have orange flavored air? And yeah, I like fidgeting with it. Have you gathered from everything you know about me that I'm a fidgety guy? I super am. I need something to do with my hands. And Fume is just a sleek little, cool little thing that kind of looks like a little baseball bat that I really love. It feels good. It tastes good. Smells good, all that stuff. Start your holidays off right with the good habit by going to tryfume.com/POA. That's TRYFUM.com/POA. You're going to get the journey pack, and you're going to get 20% off until December 1st when you use the code POA. Tryfume.com/POA. Use the code POA. Get 20% off the journey pack and start making the good habit that much easier, y'all. All right. How about that? All right, welcome back, Airheads. We are about to be regaled on the Gilded Age from our lovely Lady Kirby. Now, you don't know this. You've been on this show several times, but you've never actually, officially sat in for me. We've never done you doing a Professor CHO thing. So I'm technically the Trae in this situation, and how Trae usually likes to start these things is by telling you/the audience everything he knows about the Gilded Age before you fill us in.
Okay.
So the Gilded Age, here's a couple things that I know about it. Obviously, it took place during the Industrial Revolution. And I want to say something right now. This is the last thing I say because I want you to give all the information, but I'm kind of hoping that you don't know this. Do you know who came up with the phrase, the Gilded Age?
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain. Yes, I learned that recently because I started reading his book, The Gilded Age. And in my brain, I was like, yeah, he wrote a book called The Gilded Age because he lived through the Gilded Age. But like, that's why it was called The Gilded Age. It was a satire on the fact that like, it looks all gold or whatever, but it's not really, because there's the disparity between the workers and the, this is also where a lot of like really famous industrialists that we still know to this day, and of course their families, this is where they really got their mark.
Like you said, the Gilded Age was during the Industrial Revolution, the years between the Civil War and the turn of the century. Mark Twain, his book, The Gilded Age, that's where the term came from. During this time, the Transcontinental Railroad became a thing.
Yeah, and this was like this is what set it completely off.
Yes, the Vanderbilt family was like one of the main things. That there was a bunch of robber barons is what like people like the Vanderbilts, the Rockefellers, Carnegie.
Right, Andrew Carnegie.
Yes, like they received government money basically to fund railroads, stuff like that. And so basically they got really rich off the taxpayers.
Exactly.
And when I say rich, like in modern day money, billionaires.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like mega billionaires. And like, this is where like, we don't get too political on this show, but this is where I take a huge issue with the people of the world who like, they idolize the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers and stuff. And they go, see, they didn't take any handouts. They made all their money. These people on welfare, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they were kind of on welfare.
Well, I will say one thing about the Vanderbilts though. I will say this,
eyelash, make a wish. What did you wish for?
I can't say.
Oh, right. Usually whenever I do that to Amber, I always then kiss her afterwards as if she wished for that. And she's like, that's not what it was.
No. One thing though about the Vanderbilt family, you had the Vanderbilt that started the railroad.
George?
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
There's literally like 75.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to rich people back in the day, you can usually throw out a George and it'll probably be right.
But the one that started the railroad, he's not, like, he was already rich because his either father or grandfather, he started like his own like ferry business.
Yeah.
And he had nothing.
Right.
He had nothing, and like they were from New York, like old New York, like they've been here for centuries. He created the business from the ground up, so like the Vanderbilts were already rich,
of course, because I mean, let's face it. You're not going to convince the government to give you a lot of money to do a thing if you're not rich. Like, no, like some dude that's just working in a factory can't just go to the government and go, hey, I got this idea.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that like the grandfather was an honest businessman. I don't know.
Who knows? But he didn't have anything.
He didn't have anything. And then he ended up having
something. Which like, that's the true interesting story of like, that's the stuff that blows my mind. Cause like with Elon Musk, it's like, everybody goes, oh, he did Tesla and he did this. I'm like, right. His father was an emerald miner. I'm not saying it's easy to do those things. What I'm saying is that if you give a lot of people that I know billions of dollars, I think they could do some shit with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
sure.
I want to know who in his family is the first one to do it.
Yeah.
That's who I want to know about.
Yeah. Well, during that time, like there was the Vanderbilts, had the railroad. Obviously, the Vanderbilts, their family doesn't have the money that they had then. Because I mean, there's been a lot of people
stepping on it and spending it.
But like, I'm sure most people know Anderson Cooper's mom was a Vanderbilt.
Yep. I believe also Timothy Oliphant is related to them in some way.
I don't know who that is.
Justified. Raylan Givens.
Oh, Oh, really?
Yeah. If he's not a Vanderbilt, he's one of
He's
them
something,
type thing.
something.
And by the way, from what I hear, because my buddy Earl Brown is really good friends with him because they worked on Deadwood together. An absolute peach of a guy, and you'd never know it.
I
Like
love to
apparently
hear
he's
that
like
about
just
people.
apparently he's just like the best, and you would never know that he came from ancient money. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he's one of them.
You know, we got, you know, the college, Vanderbilt. One of the things that interests
That
me.
interests you when you're having a mimosa?
Mimosa. I'm sure a lot of people know this. If not, you'll know this now. The Biltmore in Asheville, you know, was from the Vanderbilt family. And I've been a few times. You've been a few times.
I wrote about it in our new book, Round Here and Over Yonder, which is available right now wherever you get your books, also in audio format. Go on.
Yeah, that was one thing that I thought was cool. The house is beautiful. It was just, I love Downton Abbey. So like,
and it's built in the same style.
Same style. So like that, you know, just really.
And apparently Julian Fellows feels the same way because he did Downton Abbey and then the Gilded Age.
Yeah. And I think one thing that like fascinates me about the Vanderbilt family is like, okay, the daughter of one of the Vanderbilts. I can't keep all their
Gloria.
No. Well, that Gloria's Anderson's mom.
Okay,
but I was just
throwing names out.
There was a girl named Consuelo Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Yeah, her name was Consuelo.
But white girl named Consuelo or okay. Hey.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, I guess.
Actually, like if you watch HBO's The Gilded Age, the main family on there is based on Consuelo's family.
Okay.
Well, Consuelo, it was
the main dude in The Gilded Age, he's not a regular white guy, is he? Is he?
I don't know what he is, but I having it.
Oh, I'm having it too. He's very good looking, but like when I see him and he has a little ambiguous thing going on to me where I'm like, he might have had like an Arab grandfather or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, he's kind of got a Judd Apatow thing going on actually. Oh, I'm so sorry. My alarm's going off. I need to take my pills, which I already did. That was very unprofessional. Carry on.
But she was a big deal because she got married. And she was what they called the $1 million heiresses.
Okay.
And
how many of them were there?
There was like 100 or so around that time. I'll say like 1880s, 1890s that went over to England to marry aristocrats.
Right.
That's Cora from Downton Abbey.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what she was.
So they're like, not only are we joining our families, we're sort of joining countries. Like we're having a union because, okay, is it because they wanted to have interests in both places?
Well, what happened was you had the aristocrats.
Aristocats? Wonderful Disney movie.
Vanderbilt. I have a stutter.
You can't talk. Yeah.
I have a stutter.
It's totally fine.
Yeah. You have these aristocrats who have their titles and their old family names, but they're running out of money.
Right.
And then you've got these American people who are industrialists and are new money who might not be accepted by the old money crowd.
Right.
But they've got the money.
Right.
So they want the title.
Right.
And
so the old money people are like,
arranged marriages.
They're winning big because they're like, we can just have all this, you know, new. We can join up with these people who we consider second class citizens, even though they have more money than we do, which is such a crazy thing.
And you know, America was the new world, England was the old world. They weren't, you know, that happy with the new world. Well, so you had all these arranged marriages happening, and arranged marriages happened regardless of wealth. Back in the day,
dude,
anyways,
I would argue that
someone needed a pig, someone needed a goat.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's like, I could argue that in some small ways they definitely still go on now, where like, I would argue that you and Lloyd was an arranged marriage. Me and William just wanted y'all to get married, so we shoved y'all together. Yeah. And like, so back then it was like you have to do what your parents say, but still, like in this day and age, your parents have a lot of influence over what you do. And if two families are friends and they get together and they conspire, like there's a lot of people, what I'm saying is there's a lot of people who don't know it, but they're kind of in an arranged marriage.
Yeah. Well, she had an arranged marriage with the Duke of Marlborough.
Okay. Oh, the cigarette guy?
It was spelled different.
Oh, so not the cigarette guy.
Yeah.
How do you hold on, how's Marlborough spelled I got to know, because is it spelled more phonetically? Because like Marlboro, how we say it is really like Marlboro, but we say Marlboro.
Duke, it's Marlboro cigarettes, but
Oh.
with UGH at the end.
So it's like the British way of saying it. Yeah.
Marlboro.
Marlboro.
Yeah. So she marries him, and reportedly, you know, it was the big society wedding of the year. Let me look up what year they got married.
Yeah, go ahead. It's interesting because, you know, we still do that. Like, there's still like marriage announcements in the New York Times and stuff, but like back then that was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it would have been the party of the century.
Oh, for sure. So it was the social highlight of the season. She got married, let's see. Well, they separated in 1906. I'm not saying what year they got. Okay, 1895 they got married. So basically,
and
like
separated in 1906.
Yes.
That's a big deal for
like
back
right
then.
At the end of the Gilded Age, this happened. Before you know, World War I, they got married. She reportedly cried before the ceremony and was spotted crying going down the aisle.
Right, because she didn't want to do it.
She didn't want to do it. She was a young girl. They got divorced, which was
unheard of. You don't do it.
No, you don't do it.
Like the man just goes and cheats.
Yeah, like y'all have multiple houses. Like someone just goes and lives at another house.
Which, by the way, you know, I agree. Just do that. You know what I mean? Like, just do that. Go have your separate life and still keep all your money the same.
But they got divorced, and that was a huge deal because, you know, she was a duchess, family money. Like, no one, like, literally, like, when was the first divorce?
Because,
ever?
Yeah, right.
You
because
know?
Back then, like, you know, nowadays, if you get divorced, like, don't get me wrong, there's still a tiny bit of a stigma, but not a crippling stigma. Like, if you get divorced, you can go on and remarry, and not many dudes are going to be like, oh, she's spoiled goods. But back then, dude, like, what is the one, like, the woman would go, I want to get a divorce because I hate my life with him. But then you go, right, but you won't have one after this.
Yeah.
Like, because a woman didn't have a lot of autonomy back then.
No.
It's not like she was going to be able to go to work, go to do any of these things. So like, you were kind of like getting a divorce back then was like a really badass, bold move of like saying, I don't give a shit if my life sucks after this. At least it'll suck without that motherfucker.
Yeah. And I know I kind of like sidetracked because I said the Gilded Age in America and like this happened in England. But
I don't care.
She's from America.
Yeah. She's the Cora.
You know, but she is the Cora. But during this time was like, okay, the Panic of 1893, which
I don't know anything about that.
Well, that was when
was it a stock market thing?
Yes. Basically it was like the Great Depression.
Right.
Stock markets crashed, businesses crashed, everything was just not good for about 4 years.
Is this because the Industrial Revolution is happening and everything is changing so fast that certain businesses couldn't keep up?
Some railroad companies failed.
Right.
And stuff like that. And in some states, unemployment went down to like 50%.
Right.
It was a bad time. And
it's just because of like the changing times and people can't keep up with it or whatever. So like kind of similar to like probably what AI is about to do to us, which is like, it's like, oh no, we promise it'll be better on the other end of this. But right now it's like, there's going to be people out of jobs and we're all freaking out.
Yeah. Where like in England, their Gilded Age ended at the start of World War I. Ours ended at the turn of the century when Teddy Roosevelt was like, hey, there's some stuff going on.
Right.
And I don't like this. And I'm going to run on this platform where I'm going to get jobs.
Big progressive guy.
Yeah, big progressive guy. And the Progressive Party started. He became president and things got better.
And what he meant by there's some things going on that I don't like was basically the disparity of wealth in the country, where essentially, much like it is now, it's like 10% of the people have 99% of the wealth or whatever. And like, this isn't sustainable. Like, it's great that y'all are having a good time, but you're not creating enough jobs and whatnot. And also, isn't it true that the reason ours ended later or whatever is because England's Industrial Revolution started before ours, but then, as we do in America, we caught up to them real freaking quick and then kind of surpassed them in certain ways.
Yes. Oh,
no offense, England, y'all hit for me.
Yeah.
But like, our Industrial Revolution was the hittingest Industrial Revolution that there could have been.
I mean, literally, England, they don't now, but I guess in some circles they do. They literally like lived in I'm trying to think of the word for it, like serfdom society.
Yeah, a very classist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For sure.
Mhm.
And like a lot of that's still
no capitalism whatsoever.
Yeah. And a lot of that's still very much, where it's just like, look, the aristocrats have this money and that's how it is. They get the money and you have to, as Trae likes to say, cough in the mud and die. That's just how that's going to be.
Yeah.
Proceed.
So it was very interesting time.
Do you like the show?
I love the show.
Yeah, it's not Downton Abbey.
No, it's not, but I love the show. I love the George who plays like the main character. He's the railroad guy, the one that is, kind of it inspired by the Vanderbilt family. Love the show. I think that the girl that plays his wife is really good. And then you've got what's her face that plays Mrs. Van Ryn,
from Sex and the City.
Oh, no. Oh, well, her sister's from Sex and the City, but I mean,
yeah.
What's her face?
Oh, my God. The lesbian icon. She's not a lesbian, but she's a huge gay icon. Christine Baranski.
Yeah.
Christine Baranski, who is my queen.
I didn't know she was a gay icon.
Huge gay icon.
What makes you that?
I don't know. I think, dude, these gays, God love them. They just latch on. She was probably in a lot of theater and musical stuff.
Like, is she involved in like a lot of gay rights stuff?
You know what? Well, probably 100%.
Because I'd love to be a lesbian icon.
I'm pretty sure she was in the movie The Birdcage.
I don't know what that is.
Oh my God. I don't know why I just went very stereotypically Nathan Lane and gay with that.
Because you're trying to become an icon.
Right. But it's a Nathan Lane, Robin Williams. They play a gay couple their son is getting married to a girl who her father is a conservative senator, and their family is coming to visit. And so the son is like, y'all can't be together. He can't see gay people. So he has to make Robin Williams act straight or whatever.
Oh,
and
I need to see that.
Great. Yeah. And it's a wonderful commentary on that situation, but it is strictly, there is that messaging underneath it, but it's strictly hilarious. Like, it does not sacrifice anything for the humor. It is Robin Williams at some of his best. It is Nathan Lane at maybe his absolute best.
And by the way, Nathan Lane is in the Gilded Age.
Is he?
Yeah.
He wasn't in the first season, was he?
Yes, he plays Mr. McAllister.
You're right. You know what?
By the way, was the Gilded Age McAllister. This is a real guy. He basically was the Gilded Age's Truman Capote. Right. Truman Capote is Mr. McAllister.
Yeah, I have to.
He came up with the phrase New York's 400.
That's
which
right.
Means
the people that were invited to the parties.
Yeah. Miss Vanderbilt's ballroom could fit 400 people.
So you get knocked off the list or you get added to the list.
Yeah, so you're either one of which 400 is like, oh my God, but like, think how big New York
is. Yeah. I have to admit that I stopped watching the Gilded Age season 1, episode 5, just because Amber wasn't watching it with me, and I have forgotten to go back and catch up. So that's why I forgot about Nathan Lane. I do love the show. I do love Julian Fellows, but I got some catching up to do. Aside from railroads and stuff, what were some of the main, like, the big deals going on in the Industrial Revolution in your research? Like, what else were the Vanderbilts and stuff into, aside from the ferry game?
Well, obviously, beautiful homes, like I said, the Biltmore, the Breakers.
What's the Breakers?
Oh, it's a famous mansion. Is it Rhode Island?
Okay, I don't know about this.
No, not Rhode Island.
And it's on the level of the Biltmore? Because like I was taught to believe that there's nothing on the level of the Biltmore.
The Breakers is not Rhode Island. It's in not the Breakers at Trine.
For those of you who don't know, Trine is one of our neighboring cities that we are huge rivals with.
Evidently, they have an apartment complex called the Breakers.
And no offense to anybody listening to this from Trine, but your whole city stinks, and you know it, literally, because there's sucks to suck. There's a sewer plant there.
No, the Breakers is in Newport, Rhode Island, and it's a mansion.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was called a cottage.
Okay.
All these rich people back then had cottages in Newport.
And that's like their smaller house?
Yes, that was like the Hamptons.
Yeah.
That was their
Like
their
all of
Hamptons.
those houses, no one on earth could ever afford that, and that was just they're kind of like,
Yeah, like they're mostly all museums now.
right.
But that's one thing I guess I love about the Gilded Age is literally just the
opulence.
Yes.
Yeah, like that George's house or whatever in the Gilded Age, like when they're I remember in the first season, like he's having it all designed and stuff. He's bringing all these people in, and some of the old money are like, "Oh, this is gaudy or whatever." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, "This is gaudy because this is amazing."
Mm-hmm.
Like his use of like turquoise and stuff like that, and literally gold leafed things, and like again, this opulence that should not be. It should not be. That money should be spent on education, all that, whatever. It's still beautiful. It's still great. And that's why, I mean, I love, like, dude, the Biltmore is, I do go there all the time because number one, they just don't make shit like that anymore.
No, they
it's amazing. It's amazing to see. And also when you just look at how much marble is in it and you go, my God, they built a service road just for this place.
Speaking of the Biltmore, so like, I actually did this like a while back. Like, you know, like I like to go down my rabbit holes.
Yeah, you do love rabbit holes.
Yeah. So one day I was just like looking up things about the Biltmore and I was like looking at pictures of some of the servants' clothes and just looking at all that stuff. And then I thought, well, who owns the Biltmore now? And I saw that it was the Cecil family. And I was like, Cecil family? Well, a Vanderbilt at some point married a Cecil.
It was you're right. The female Vanderbilt married a Cecil.
And so I'm like, okay, well, like, wonder like I want to know who the modern age Cecils are.
Yeah, right.
And so I got on Facebook and I just typed in Cecil, Asheville, North Carolina.
Right.
And I just found people that look like me and you that are the Cecils.
Really?
From Asheville. And like, there's one, like where one obviously got married there. And it's like, these are people that look just like me and you that.
They've got ungodly amounts of money.
Ungodly amounts of money.
Because that's
it was just so cool. Like I went down like a complete rabbit hole of these people that like, I mean, you know, we've got the Chattanooga, like we've got rich families in Chattanooga and stuff.
Yeah, you've got the Crystal family,
the
Davenports, yeah,
the Probascos.
The Probascos. That sounds like a wonderful sauce. I didn't know about these people. Sure, bank people. Okay, sure.
Yeah, the Ludmans.
Yeah,
Ludmans. Stuff like that.
That's Coca-Cola, right?
Think so, yeah, because Davenport's Crystals.
Davenport's
right?
Crystal, Ludman.
Or is it opposite?
No, Davenport's definitely Crystal. I know, and I can't say. I used to do some work for the Davenports when I was in the flower business, and was some wild cats.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say. Some wild cats.
Yeah, oh for sure.
Anyways, yeah, but it's interesting you say that because like you look at them now and you're like, I wouldn't have known or whatever because that is the sign of the times. Like. Rich people, like the way that we all dress now, back then you knew when someone was rich, like 100%, because like they're wearing the coat with the gold buttons and stuff like that, and everything's fitted, and they've got their, their leggings or whatever.
Like this vest, I think I got it on Amazon for like $25.
Right.
But like,
Kim Kardashian would wear exactly what you're wearing.
Yeah, like, but also Lululemon has this, I guess, for like 100 and something.
Right, right. The styles now, because there's so many, as you called it earlier, dupes. There's so many dupes. Like there's not really unless you literally
gold plate.
Unless you literally have gold film on your shirt and it says Louis Vuitton. But here's the thing, though. Rich people don't do that no more. Like rich people wear what I'm wearing, like a plain black shirt with no logos.
Well,
so
yeah,
like,
they didn't have polyester to make like a cheaper version of something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like nowadays, the only way really to tell if someone is rich is like, I've got a pretty good eye for it. Like in terms of when I see someone in a suit, I can tell if it's tailored or not, but like, unless they're standing in front of a Lamborghini, they blend in with society. Whereas the Vanderbilts with their top hats and monocles and canes and shit, you're like, oh, wow, that's a rich guy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like when you first said that about the Cecil, they look like you and me. I was like, how? But like, duh, of course they do. Like everyone I know with money also looks like me.
I mean, if you go up to like, let's say like not home goods, Whole Foods. Only the poor folk, I guess, we're at Home Goods. If you go up to like Whole Foods, like in North Chattanooga, you can like see let's say a woman in her like 50s, and she can literally look homeless, ragged, whatever. And then it's like you can slightly spot maybe like one little thing, and it's like, wait, is she homeless or is she actually just completely
bougie.
loaded?
Yeah, because okay, and I'll say this because
like holes in her clothes.
So the clothes that I'm currently wearing were given to me because of sponsorships through podcasts or whatever. Well, no, I bought these sweatpants. That was me.
I am a size medium and a size 4-6 in jeans.
Sender stuff. But I bought these sweatpants, but I got them. It was because I got a special deal at the Nike store for 50% off because I hit for those people. But my point is, I'm wearing, you can see me right now, sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This t-shirt is an $80 t-shirt, and these were $100 sweatpants. My point being, again, I did not spend my money on these. My point,
but if you wanted,
if I wanted to, of course I could. But my point is that wealth doesn't look now like what wealth used to look like. Wealth now is
there's
like
new money and old money.
There's new money and old money, and it's like
ain't no money.
It's like, you know, because that people always say that all the time. They're like, oh yeah, no, rich. If you see like all these rappers or all these young kids, they're wearing the Louis Vuitton stuff. They're like, no, rich people don't do that because they save their money and they invest. And they go, look, see, he's wearing Elon Musk. He's wearing a plain black shirt and these jeans. I'm like, that shirt, I promise you, even though it's just a t-shirt, was $500.
Yeah.
And more power to him, whatever. Those jeans were $800. Like, that's the point. They do spend that same amount of money. That doesn't show, but like it's the quality. Like, and by the way, this t-shirt is awesome. It rules. I've had it for 5 years. You know why? Because it's well made.
Well, yeah.
It's well made. Whereas my Hanes one that looks the same has deteriorated. That's not my point.
I think it's dumb to spend a lot of money on something is if it's trendy.
If it's trendy or it's,
but like a black t-shirt will be forever.
I've literally had it for 5 years.
Yeah.
But that was my whole point, is that like how people look, you can't tell just by how people look anymore. Whereas used to 100% you could tell by how people look. And that was really the gilded part of the Gilded Age, like to gild, like not
all that glitters is gold.
Not all that glitters is gold. There you go. Let's end there. That was wonderful, Professor Lady Kirby. Well done filling in for me. Tell everybody where they can find you on the socials. I'm kidding. She doesn't do that. Well, you've got an Instagram. People can follow you.
I do. At Kirby Askew. I can't remember if I'm private or not, but.
Well, if you are, they can request you.
Yeah, you can request. And if you look legit, I'll accept.
Yeah,
I have pictures of Laura James on there.
Oh, so. I understand that. You know what you need to do is you need to start a Finsta. Like you need to start an Instagram that's just for you to, like, you could post because you love history so much.
I know.
You should start a history account or whatever, and then
because like I'm weird. Like I remember when we first started the.
Know what you should do? You should just take over the Puttin On Airs Instagram. It's what you should do.
I should do that.
Just do that and just post stuff all the time. You ain't even got to ask me.
Yeah. No, when we first started doing the Little House of the Dragon.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we will be coming back for season 2 whenever the show does.
Well, yeah, whenever it comes back. I had like. So like I didn't check I would get on Instagram, but like I just like ignored my notifications.
Yeah.
And like one day I was like, why do I have like 100 requests? And like I just kept, and I'm like, oh.
You got the Corey rub.
Yeah.
You got the Puttin On Airs rub.
Yeah.
Trae Crowder rub.
That was it.
We've all had it. Well, I would say that this is the end of the show, but it's not. You are in for a real treat. This last segment for you, me and my mother, Lady Laura, decided to do a little cooking for y'all. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're about to get a literal full episode of a cooking show. If you're just listening audio wise, I personally think that it still tracks. I did the best I could to make it just as good of an audio experience as it is visual. However, I would like to use this to say, if you only listen audio wise, use this as your, okay, I'll finally watch the YouTube. All right. Full cooking segment. coming to you next as a little bonus here on Puttin On Airs. I've been Corey. She's been Lady Kirby. Remember to buy our new book Round Here and Over Yonder, and go to bonuscorey.com if you want to get in with any of the audio dramas that I'm doing and all that stuff. And I can't say what, but me and Kirby are actively working on a new thing since we can't wait until Little House of the Dragon 2.
No, because God knows.
There you go. Tell her
the strike is over, guys.
The strike is over. Kirby's got to get back to work. Tell everybody to stay fancy.
Stay fancy, my friends.
Stay fancy, my friends. Y'all, are you hoping to budget your food expenses this holiday season? Well, I know I am. That's why I use Every Plate. I'll tell you that much. Get more bang for your buck with America's best value meal kit. Every Plate is 25% cheaper than grocery shopping with no hidden fees, so you can add more items to your cart for delicious, healthy holiday meals. Plus, only pay for what you need with pre-portioned ingredients. Are you craving steak? Well, by the way, they're introducing Dollar Steak for Life. Add a 10-ounce ranch steak to your weekly order for only $1. Now, that's raising the stakes. Hey, how about that? Very funny joke there. But that's an amazing deal. Are you kidding me? $1 for a steak? Crossing off your to-do list ahead of the holiday season is super easy with Every Plate. Take back your time, fewer trips to the grocery store, meals ready in 6 simple steps. They plan the meals and deliver pre-portioned ingredients right to your door so you can spend less time meal prepping and more time resting and relaxing over the holidays. Y'all, I absolutely love Every Plate for so many reasons, but also because it is a sustainable choice. Every Plate offsets 100% of their delivery emissions. I love that. You can eat good stuff and you can feel good about it too. Get a meal. Here's what you're going to do. Get a meal for $1.49 plus $1 steaks by going to everyplate.com/podcast and entering the code 49POA. All right. That is, you're going to get $1.49 meal plus $1 steaks by going to everyplate.com/podcast, entering the code 49POA. Again, that is everyplate.com/podcast, code 49POA. Y'all, that is up to $110 value that we're letting you have for pennies on the dollar. Y'all do it. We love you, Every Plate. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Skew. Airheads, as you've noticed earlier, we have a special episode of Puttin On Airs this week. We are sans Trae, but that does not mean we are sans fun. Oh, no, no, no. And I thought what we would do today is our very first Puttin On Airs cooking segment. How about it? But I can't do that alone because I have to have the woman who not only sort of introduced me to Anglophilism, I suppose it would be, taught me to love the finer things in life, also responsible for my crippling anxiety. It is my mother, Lady Laura Forster, everyone. Mom, how are you?
I'm great. It's nice to be with you.
Thank you. Glad you're here. Are you familiar with the show?
What show is that?
Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you. Puttin On Airs, Mother, the show where two trash dum-dums, me and Trae, talk about fancy things in life.
Okay.
Obviously, my fancy coming from you, my trash coming from, well, he's holding the camera.
Well, I mean, it sounds like a good concept.
What are we making today for everyone at home?
Well, I thought since it's almost Thanksgiving that we would make Edna's famous sweet potato pie.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, Edna is my grandmother who grew up not only poor, I would say borderline destitute. Is this correct?
I would say that. She was born in 1920 to sharecroppers in the Catoosa County area, which is North Georgia here. And her dad, like I said, was a sharecropper, and they lived in several different houses. Several of them didn't have a floor. They had a dirt floor.
Cardboard shoes.
She had, well, her cardboard...
They had to share diapers. It was a whole thing.
Her shoes were her brother's.
Right.
And so when all the boys wore them, so there's like 5 boys... So they wore them. By the time they got to her, they had holes in them. So she put cardboard in the bottom of them so she wouldn't have holes in her shoes.
Pulling herself up by her bootstraps. What are you going to do, folks?
That's what she did.
And yeah, Granny did always make sweet potato pie. Like, I remember when we were kids, like, I heard about the fact that people had pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, but we always had sweet potato pie. And I think when I was a kid, since they were both orange, I always just thought, like, oh, well, that's the same thing. Like, ours is, we just call our sweet, kind of like salmon, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, I'm assuming, in any reading I've done with our area, because we are in the Appalachia area,
salmon, Appalachia, tomato.
Well, yes, and you can say it right like me, or you can say it the other way. But pumpkins were not that prevalent, especially for the poorer people, and they didn't grow those en masse and whatnot, but they did sweet potatoes.
What's the only, you only have pumpkins once a year. Like, you don't, like, pumpkin was something you only have at Thanksgiving, so, like, I guess these people are not going out of their way to, like, have it's like a vanity vegetable.
Well, that's true, because I don't think it's really
Because what else do you eat it in?
I don't think it's indigenous, really, actually, even to North America.
I don't know if that's a fact, but let me tell you something. If you're just pulling that straight out of your butt, welcome to the show. Okay. You fit in perfectly. That's what we do here.
Well, I do think that's right, but I mean, if I'm wrong, sorry.
They'll let you know in the comments and in the airmail. PuttinOnAirs@gmail.com. Thank you all so much.
Well, another thing, too, about sweet potatoes, these are easier to keep when you don't have refrigeration.
Sure.
Like, you could keep these in the cool of the ground, or maybe you've got a cellar. You could dig a hole back and put them in where they're keeping cool. But now a pumpkin is going to rot quicker than this.
Of course.
Than that. So, it's a little longer lasting vegetable, too. But growing up, I always had sweet potatoes. We did have a jack-o'-lantern or two, but
Well, I was told y'all had no money.
No, this was after we grew up.
Yeah, right, okay.
But I mean, she bought a jack-o'-lantern or two. I mean, but we didn't really do Halloween very much. And
because of Satan?
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Edna too. Also, our holidays.
Did I mention that's my granny, my great grandmother? I started to. A lot of people may not know. If you're familiar with me and my book or whatever, you know that's my Granny Bain. Yeah. This is my Granny Bain. My mother's mother passed away when she was 96 years old. Absolute best woman in the world, and again had to share a toilet with all her brothers for a long time.
Well, probably just shared a hole.
Yeah,
actually,
right.
But not the toilet. But holidays at our house were not huge. First of all, it was just me and her and Harvey. And so, for the most part...
Harvey is my grandfather, who was old even when I was born. I believe he was 103 years old. Methuselah, we called him.
He was born in 1907. She was born in 1920. So, they're like a 13-and-a-half-year difference in them. But anyway, she did not... Obviously, they did not have big Christmases and celebrate a lot. They didn't have anything. If Mother got an orange and a piece of peppermint candy, she thought she
I remember when we were kids, she would do that sometimes.
Yes.
She would get the brown paper bag. It would have, not pecans, the bigger ones. Walnuts. It would have walnuts. It would have orange. It would have peppermint. It would have an apple.
Yes.
And then there was like some just loose stuff that I don't really remember.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of poverty candy just kind of loosely thrown.
Well, that's probably the way it was with her. So that's the way she did. And when she got those bags, then she was very excited about getting that bag. So
she would then blow the bag up, and that's what she used as a pillow when she was a child.
Shut up.
Okay.
So you're going a little too far.
All right. Go back to the sweet potato.
Right, back to the sweet potatoes. Anyway, her sweet potato pie, it was just the best. And I guess you kind of start taking it for granted until you start tasting pumpkin pies and different things like that. I think they're far superior to pumpkin pie.
Agreed.
I think a sweet potato has more flavor. And I'll go ahead and let you know that...
You poop better. It's got more fiber.
Well, it does. And it's very nutrient dense.
Right.
Ooh. And the fact that, I don't know, like I said, it's just easier to keep. It was easier to find. And I'm going to say, I would assume.
I'm going to say, she got Italian there. I'm going to say, mamma mia, the sweet potato.
Well, I'm going to say that these are, I would say, a lot more economical than what a pumpkin was.
I mean,
at
it'd
the
have to
time,
be.
Or whatnot. But.
Easier to steal, that's for sure.
Well, yes, you could put them in your sack, you know, and we call them sacks.
The dusty old jacket they all wore back then.
Yes. And I do a couple of things different. And Kirby told me not to do anything different, but I had to, because I believe if she was alive now, she would be doing it this way.
Yes, that generation of women, very susceptible to change. I remember that being the thing
All
most
I
about
can
them.
say is if I told her it was better,
That's true.
I think she would have believed me.
Okay, well, what is it? Explain to
We
me.
need to start off with 2 cups of cooked sweet potatoes.
Okay.
Now, traditionally people boil potatoes for this kind of thing, even for their sweet potato casseroles and stuff. Well, I like to roast them.
I too roast them.
Okay.
It's much better.
And
Also, I like
they're-
to eat the skins.
Well, okay, you can
That's
do
where
that.
all the nutrients are.
I'm sure. I mean, I know you're correct on that, but I do it because the boiled potatoes seem to be wetter.
Right.
Like there's a lot of water that
Yeah.
gets into it, and so
It probably loses a lot of that starch out into the water too, and like is going to affect the, I guess, consistency of your pie. Again, I'm making all of this up, but it makes sense to me.
that's fine. You can make it up. That's okay. You know what? A lot of cooking is making things up.
Agreed.
Okay, and especially in her day, I'm sure they didn't go by many recipes. I've just cut the skin here, and I'm just going to dig out here 2 cups of cooked potato. Now
Now,
listen,
be honest with me here.
Yes.
You're only doing it in the cups because we're doing this for people and you want them to have the recipe. Because
Yeah.
otherwise you would just eyeball it,
I would
correct?
eyeball it.
Okay, because
I
I've
would.
never seen you use a cup in my life. I've never used a cup in my life. But I understand for these purposes, the people need to know.
Well, you also, over the years, the more you do this, you kind of get a feel of what a cup
Of course.
what a cup is. All right. Now, also for you people who are upset about the dark spots, just don't say anything about them. They're good. They just got a little warmer, probably a little bit more sugar in that
I just
area.
always assumed it was sugar.
I'm
Which is
assuming
fine.
it's sugar, but now, you know, a lot of people are funny about stuff
Well,
like that.
you know, that's
and
all.
that's
Banana,
okay.
the dark spot on banana, that's all.
It's more sugar.
You know what I found? Anytime I see dark spots on my banana, I eat the banana with my eyes closed. And I do. I eat it with my eyes closed, and I can never tell.
Most people go to the doctor.
Thank you, Dad. Yes.
Well, let me just tell you, this is the way we're doing this. And I just wanted to put the disclaimer out for the, spots on it. I mean, by the time you get it in there, and now that I have a little peeling there.
Oh, I'll eat it.
Okay, you go right ahead. All right.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm going to get...
It is sweeter. I'm telling you, that's like caramelized sugar in there.
Yes. Well, I'm just going to tell you something. Baked potatoes, they really don't need anything. They don't need a lot of help, but they're going to get a lot of help in this recipe. But
Well, that's true. If you were to just put that in a pie, it would be good. I would like it.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're taking 2 cups of cooked sweet potatoes, and we put this in our mixing bowl.
And then I get to lick that later.
Oh, sure, if you want to. That's fine with me.
Don't watch me. It's embarrassing.
1 cup of brown sugar.
I really wanted everybody to see how perfect that thing of brown sugar was.
Well,
you
maybe
can't
I
put it back
did.
on. No, it's fine.
But
Did you have a mold that you put that in?
Well, no, I put it in a cup,
Duh.
a measuring cup.
checks out.
But most of the time, and maybe people saw it when I put it right before I put it in there. But most of the time, when you cook with brown sugar, most recipes will say packed.
Right.
Okay.
Because if it's loose, you're getting a lot more.
Well, if it's packed, you're getting more.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
If it's
because there's
loose,
not
you're
the
getting
air
less.
in between and whatnot.
How old were you when you found out that brown sugar was just sugar with molasses in it? Also, hello, take your pills, Corey.
You didn't take them before you came?
Huh? I took some before I came, but not the ones the doctor gave me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to me that it was probably just in the last few years.
I was older than I should have been. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't know why I thought that brown sugar grew naturally in the caves with regular sugar, which I know that's not true either.
I just always, honestly, in my head, thought that maybe it wasn't processed.
Yeah, I don't know.
As much or something.
It's clearly
I don't
superior.
know. But it's superior. It's wonderful. I could eat it by the spoonfuls personally. And but I'm not supposed to recommend that.
And we always take our skins to the local homeless shelter and just throw them out. You know, we try to
give this.
Okay.
Okay. Now we've done that, and we are going to. We've got our sweet potatoes. We had our brown sugar. We're going to take 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I've used kosher salt.
Of course.
I just don't use the regular iodized anymore because it tastes like a tin can.
I know. And I know that it's fine to have.
Oh, no.
And I know
fine.
you're supposed to have iodine.
Well, this has that in there.
Of course,
sure.
but no, kosher salt or give me death.
Or sea salt.
Yes.
Whatever. But I just want to let you know.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be blessed by a rabbi for me. I just need it to be thick.
It does not, but I mean, this is pretty economical.
Sure.
And so, 1/4 cup of the salt. Also, I have taken, this is, the recipe calls for 1/2 cup of evaporated milk.
Mm-hmm.
I also, this is where I strayed. I use heavy cream.
Yeah.
And
Evaporated milk is Eagle brand, right?
No.
Right. That's condensed milk. Okay.
Evaporated milk, I think, is more on the level of almost a half and half.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah, go full heavy cream.
And I'm not exactly sure about that, but now I will say, growing up, Mother always used the evaporated milk. She used evaporated milk
For everything.
For everything.
Yeah.
For everything. But I like heavy cream.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, and I usually, even with milk, I substitute it.
Oh, yeah. In my Campbell's soups, it's usually heavy cream.
Yes, I do that.
And by the way, my cholesterol, sky high.
Well, it's going to be even higher
That's
today.
okay. It's
but
Thanksgiving.
This is 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And as they say in the cooking world, I've heard, she just had on here, I use vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of her recipes, I know that I'm bad about doing this too. I'll write down a recipe and I know what I mean.
Right.
And then I don't explain it and
Right.
everything. But this recipe had called for ginger and
Ginger?
yeah.
Okay.
Some, like a teaspoon of ginger, some nutmeg, and some cinnamon. Now, that's the usual spices that do go in a pumpkin pie. Mother did not like
Nutmeg.
that.
Yeah.
She just didn't like, I guess, that combination of all three, because she would use nutmeg and some stuff.
Boy, she'd be in trouble today because that's what they spice everything
Oh,
with in November. Yeah.
everything. And I'm not a big fan
For
myself.
the record, I love nutmeg in, like, I put it on my ice cream. I also like it in my
Yes.
pastas and
Yes,
stuff. But
yes.
when it comes to sweet potato pie, I genuinely want it just to taste like sweet potatoes. That's
with
it.
the sugar
with
in
the,
it
with
and whatever.
sweeter potatoes. That's what I want.
Well, she just says vanilla, and I always say vanilla. They on television they'll say measure that with your heart, which we should have started. I should
That's
have told
okay.
them, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But
What my mother wanted to say was, while you're getting all of this ready, you can take your pie crust and go ahead and par bake it in the oven. Par baking is where you get something a little bit done. And in this instance, what really helps with a pie, because I know it's the same thing with quiche, it helps the end product to be less gummy, right? If you just put all your stuff in there, this portion right here, the bottom of the pie, it's not going to be able to cook as much, and it's going to have that gummy texture. But if you par bake it, it's going to be just as crispy as the rest of your pie. Am I correct?
that's correct.
What's up?
And-
Huh? What is up?
Bring it up high.
If only I knew as much about, like, the Roman Empire when I'm talking about it on this show.
Well, I'm just going to tell you, to me, right now, this pie and eating and sustenance is more important than
I
the
agree.
Roman Empire. So, yes, you can call it par bake. A lot of people call it, well, shoot.
Flash bake?
Yeah, something like that. I
Par
forget.
bake's the right way.
Yeah, but anyway, put the fork to them so that if you don't, a lot of people don't know this, but if you don't fork it, then your pie crust, when it goes in there, is going to bubble up.
It sure
now,
will. I've learned from experience.
It may bubble up a little bit now, but we're not going to get tore up about it. But anyway, we're going to put it in a preheated oven at 400. And we're going to set the timer for about 10 minutes. And if you don't have one on your stove, I'm sure you have one on your phone.
That's right.
So just do that. So we have our ingredients in. That is pre-baking over here in the oven on 400, which is what your pie is going to be set on to. Okay. Now,
there's also going to be a lot of people, by the way, not a lot of people, but a couple people that are like, oh, really? Store-bought pie crust? Do you have anything you'd like to say to those people?
Oh, yeah, but I'm not going to say it.
Right.
Okay.
We understand, and if you want to do that, that's fine, but when you're cooking on Thanksgiving, a lot of times you don't have time for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Mother could make the greatest pie crust of anything. And when this little thing came out where you could go and you could buy your pie crust in the frozen section, I think she thought that, I don't know, she had hit the mother lode or whatever, because during the time that I grew up is when all this stuff started happening, like the margarine and the stuff to make your life easier.
Yeah.
Okay? And from her, this is the way, when you grew up in the 20s,
right.
And then she obviously was like a teenager during the Depression and all this stuff is fancy eating.
I was about to say,
okay?
so there's a lot of people who would be like, your granny must not have been a real redneck because a real redneck would have made her own pie crust. And I put to you that, like, my granny grew up so poor, so trash, that to her, hearing this is like, oh my God,
this is rich people stuff.
And one less thing.
Yes.
One less thing. Like,
yes.
she had to cook, clean, everything.
Well,
and
she
so,
worked.
Yeah, and she worked.
She was a working
housewife.
Yes, she was.
And
yes,
to her, that was like, that was high on the hog. Like, that's caviar to her.
Yes. And it made her life easier. And she said she used this every time. Anytime she baked something, she used a frozen pie crust. And she did. Now, we are going to separate.
Ooh, I love doing
two
this.
eggs. Do you want to do one?
Yeah. Can I do one?
Yeah, sure.
Can I do it my new way that I do it, separating eggs? Let me wash my hands real quick. How about that?
Okay. I'm not going to judge.
You talk to the camera.
Okay. I'm not going to judge however you're going to do it, whatever. But the way I do it.
No, I want to watch you do it because I like you doing it, but it just, it takes too long for me.
Well, I don't understand why it takes too long.
But I also get
There's
eggs.
a towel over here.
I get eggs. I get shells and stuff in it.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. Do it. I like the way you do it. I know that it's the superior way.
Well, don't break a lot. Okay, that might
Can't help
be.
it. I don't have good dexterity. I'm a boy in a china shop.
Okay. Well, you've said all this, and now you've put me on the spot here.
You kind of screwed up there.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. You got it.
No. As long as I don't get any yellow in there, then I'm fine. So I just separated it by doing this, and you're letting the whites flow out. There's a yellow. Now, King Daddy, let's see yours.
Okay. Here's how I do it.
Yeah. I know what you're going to do. There you go. It works.
And there you go.
And put it in there. There you go.
I mean, come on. I mean, granted, I have to wash my hands again, and you don't. But have you seen the way that they do it, where they take a 20-ounce Coke bottle and you just suck it?
Yes, I have.
Suck it in there.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I like
I've seen that. Now you wash your hands, and we're saving. Don't throw away the egg whites because we're saving those for something.
That has to do with the pie?
Yes, it does.
Are you gonna make a meringue?
No.
Oh.
No. No. That was another thing when Cool Whip came out. Whoa.
Oh yeah.
That was another thing that she thought, because she loved stuff with the meringue on it, but she just, I don't know. She was always making, I guess, in the summertime more
lemon icebox pies, and
and it would sweat, and it would come across from the crust. And I think there's a trick for that, but I can't remember what it is. And anyway, it aggravated her, so she did Cool Whip.
She loved Cool Whip, and she also never threw out a Cool Whip container. And I know this because there would be so many times when I was a kid that I would run into Granny's house. open up the refrigerator and go, hell yeah, there's some Cool Whip. Open it up, green beans.
Yes.
Which I loved her green beans, but I wanted Cool
but
Whip.
You wanted Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Well, we've got this in here, Satan. You can read it off to me.
Okay.
Because I can't really see it very
2
well.
cups mashed sweet potatoes, 1 cup packed firmly brown sugar, ½ cup of butter, 2 eggs separated, half a teaspoon of ginger, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, which I believe we are omitting. We put the 4th tablespoon of salt in there, ½ a cup of evaporated milk, which we are using heavy cream because we grew up Christian, ½ cup white sugar, 1 unbaked pie shell, 10-inch whipped topping if desired. And would you like me to read off the, melted butter? You didn't say nothing about that.
Well, you did.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't say melted in there, but...
But yeah, why not?
No, well, I can't imagine. It would just be, if it put it in here cold,
Yeah, right.
with all these wet things, it would just be lumps
up,
of it.
yeah.
Clumps of it. So this was ½ a cup, which is 1 stick
You're right.
of butter.
Yeah.
And just to let y'all know,
I will be licking that too.
Yes, I do not use margarine for anything. Margarine is not butter.
Yeah, right. No, that's
Okay.
not.
So,
And
anyway.
it's not healthier either. Like
No,
it's
it's
literally
plastic.
it's literally but when it came out it was like everybody knew like it's not real butter, but everybody was like, well, at least it's better for us. It's neither of those
Well,
things.
that was a lie.
And maybe is it cheaper?
Well, I'm sure. I don't know anymore. I don't even look at it, so I have no idea.
Either
how
way,
much it
let me tell you
costs.
something right now. The closest I've ever come to divorcing my wife was how hard it took me to convince her that no, when I tell you to go get butter, I don't mean a tub of Country Crock.
Exactly.
Also, for anybody in the comments, I think that Country Crock is wonderful on a roll. I really do.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
yeah.
But when you're cooking, for the love of God, get a grip on yourselves.
Well, and I mean, I don't. Like I said, you asked the price. I don't know. This comes from Walmart.
Well, the
So
reason you don't know
it's-
how much margarine is because we haven't bought it in years.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't even look at the margarine,
Yeah,
so I
and that's
don't
the cheap
know
butter.
how
You've
much
done right.
It's cheap butter. Cheap butter is still $1 a stick.
I know. Tell me
So
about it.
I'm mixing this until obviously well incorporated. Now also there are going to be some lumps in here
Sure,
because
but that's good.
I'm not pureeing.
Yeah, right.
This. I'm not putting it in the Vitamix or the blender.
It's a sweet potato pie, not baby food.
Exactly. So I've got this going. Let me get a spatula. And I'm going to push down the side just a little bit. It's really just about done. And we're going to have to, let me just do this just a little bit. I think I saw just a little bit of brown sugar in there. So, we've got that. Now, this is where, are they going to get upset if I use my fingers to
They ain't
this?
eating it.
Okay.
Also,
That's
no,
true.
listen.
That's true.
And I say this with love, Airheads. Most of them fall under the trash part of the Venn diagram, not the fancy. So I read the emails. It's
Well,
true, and I love you for it.
Those are my kind of people then. All right. Would you, let's see, we can just leave that right there. Okay, you can have it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, the only reason I'm doing this, I'm fixing to put this into this separate bowl because these egg whites are going to have to be beaten until they're fluffy. Okay. And I didn't want to get out an extra mixer and stuff. So I'm going to put this all in here. And I am going to ask you, when I get this in here, I'm using this was one of the things Mother really didn't use very much.
Rubber spatula?
She did
Was it not a thing back then?
Really, I don't think it wasn't. She used, the wooden spoons and stuff all the time.
I've only recently started using them a lot.
Oh.
And I think maybe it's because, Granny didn't use them. I just didn't see them a lot or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. In my brain, I didn't realize their tremendous versatility. I was just like, some people like wood and some people like rubber. I like wood because it's old school. But, you get all of it out.
You get it all out, but that's
There's
why
so many sips left at the bottom.
Your daddy doesn't like it because it gets
then he
all the
can't.
stuff
Yeah, right,
out.
then he
Well,
can't.
you go rinse this out.
Well,
and I want you to dry it. It needs to be dry. And we are also, it's time to get out our We've got 30 seconds, but that's okay.
I hope it's burned. No, it's
Well,
perfect.
it is not burned. Actually, it looks very good. Now, and we put enough fork holes in there that it's not puffed up. I'm gonna leave my oven on. And I need it dry. Another thing I did not really, different recipes I guess call for different things, but most of the time when you're baking, your eggs should be room temperature. Don't get, here, take this. This is fine, this one's clean. I'm right with that. They should be room temperature. If you forget to leave them out for a few hours, just take you a cup or a bowl of hot water and put your eggs still in the shell. Put your eggs in that hot water and let them sit for a few minutes, and that will warm those. Up. Thank you.
That'll do it.
Got it?
Yep.
You got it? Now I'm going to put on the whisk attachment, which I don't really use that often.
It's
but
whiskey business.
it is. You're so cute. We're going to take, I think I see a little bit of yolk there. We're going to take this, there, I got it.
I know that didn't come from mine, but I did.
Well, we're going to take our 2 egg whites, and we are going to put in, how much sugar was it? I forget. I believe it's a fourth.
Yeah, fourth cup.
Fourth a cup of sugar in here. Now this is not instantaneous,
Right.
so it's going to take a few minutes. Okay, and I don't know.
Oh, you're starting off on 6.
Well, yeah.
Holy,
Okay.
yeah, I'm for it.
All right.
Let's live.
All right. Now I don't know if everybody can hear us, but is there anything you want to ask about?
Yes,
Anything while this fluffs up?
I wanted to ask you how you felt about the fact that British royalty bangs their relatives as often as rednecks do, but we're the only ones that get the blame for it. Thoughts?
Well, they have money. That's why they don't get blamed.
There you go.
Okay, and we also do it for a totally different reason than what they do.
Yeah, because our cousin's hot and has big tits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you say. But
Right.
that's not what they're doing. They're trying to keep the
Purify the
pure.
bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, obviously, your more recent royals are not doing that anymore.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I don't think that Kate is.
Well, no, okay, the current recent one, yeah, but like
Well,
Charles
no.
and Diana they were related.
Yeah, but it was real distant.
It was real distant, but like if anybody else had done it, they would have been like, ugh, egads, gross.
Well, probably so.
Okay, another question for
Okay.
you. If we talk about this on Puttin On Airs every now and then, we fantasy book like a kingdom, like a realm or whatever,
Yeah.
using like real people, so not politicians, but like, right, so no politicians, you can't use politicians past or present, but you can use anyone from real life, living or dead, if you want to, actors, whatever.
Okay.
If America turned into a monarchy, which God forbid we ever did, but if we did and we had a kingdom and we were going off to rule the land and be basically what the British were back in the day, who would you not elect, but who do you think would be the best, either king or queen? Either one.
Well, I'd be the best queen.
Okay, fair, but not you.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you where we landed so that maybe...
You tell me and that'll give me a...
Okay, so we decided, this was my pitch,
Okay.
at least, that when I think of a king...
Yeah.
Now, granted, we also had to say, never mind, this don't count because he used to be a politician. I just don't think of him this way. I said Arnold Schwarzenegger. He looks like peak 80s Arnold Schwarzenegger. Doesn't he look like a king from the Bible that's going to lead you in?
Yes.
And queen, of course, we went with Dolly Parton.
Okay. All right. Queen and the king. First of all, I would not pick Arnold Schwarzenegger, but that's you got.
But you get what I'm saying.
So who do I get to pick?
And by the way, I mean it can be. I mean a ruling queen too. I don't mean a queen just to be the king's wife. I'm talking about like Elizabeth. Like she can. You don't even have to think about a man.
Okay, so I don't have to pick a king. I can pick a queen.
Oh yeah, you can pick a queen. Yeah. You can also pick a king and then a queen regent if you want to, but
queen.
Mm-hmm. Because I just assume you would rather have a woman rule.
Well, yes.
I agree with you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And again, no politicians.
Oh, she's not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Paula Deen?
Well, listen, it's a run for the money, and I felt like
I know who you're going to say. I know who you're going to say.
And I feel bad for not picking Paula because she is, to me, the greatest home cook.
You realize we're talking about leading a nation, correct?
Well, I think she could lead a nation.
I agree.
too.
Hey, okay. I know who you picked, though. I know who you picked. Can we say it on 3?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Martha Stewart. Oh, Anna Garden.
Anna Garden.
I like it.
No,
I like it.
Anna
Barefoot
Garden.
Contessa. Yeah.
Anna Garden.
She would be great at hosting all the parties.
Oh.
Everybody would want to be in her court.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
to me, she's the queen of cooking. And it's not just because, I don't know.
Martha Stewart was a business mogul, so I just figured to be like, well, she...
I'm just...
but also went to jail. Anna Garden didn't. Scoreboard. You know what I mean?
And yeah, we're not even going to go into that, about how I feel about that. But...
Oh, it's fine. She shouldn't have gone to jail.
No, she should not have gone to
No, she
jail.
got railroaded. We've talked about it on the show before.
I mean-
She went to jail for getting the hookup. It's bullshit.
She got the shaft.
Yeah.
Big time. Anna, though, I don't know. It's... In my day, when...
Because now we've got Jeffrey as King Regent.
When Martha started out, obviously everybody knew who Martha was before Anna, I guess. I mean, I did anyway, knew who Martha was. I don't know. Martha did not come across as approachable to me as Anna does.
That's true.
That could be...
So
I've
you
never
want
met
more,
either one of them.
You want a benevolent queen, and Anna would be more of a benevolent queen.
I suppose so.
Okay.
I want to have a fun queen. I would want to have a queen who does have common sense.
Mm-hmm.
I want a queen who enjoys.
Who's in touch with the people, as Anna certainly is out in her Hamptons home.
Yeah. Well, I know, and
I'm kidding.
But Martha is no.
Look, we're talking about royalty. They're going to be rich.
Yeah, but she just, I just see the way she does things, and it seems so effortless, and she does it with such a smile on her face.
It's true.
That she's queen to me in the
Right.
cooking
There
area.
you have it, Anna Garden. And now back to my queen of cooking. What are we doing here? Are we meringued yet?
Well, we're not meringuing.
Okay. Oh, right. We're whipping.
We're whipping, and it didn't have to be stiff peaks.
Okay.
Anything like that. But it's a little foamy. Okay. It's probably not as thick as I would want it to be. But let me just say this.
That's why it's got that sort of the texture to it, that
Yes.
light airiness.
Yes.
I didn't know what you was getting up to in there. I like this.
I don't understand why you didn't figure that out.
Well, I was always in there
But-
watching football.
Well, that's true. Now, these are not whipped, so they're not at a stiff peak, so I'm not really going to worry about messing these up, as they say, letting all the air out or whatnot. But, you know what? In cooking, I never heard Edna or Mama say one thing about, ooh, I better not bust these. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I didn't hear that. Now, maybe she
Well, because you're not baking right here. If you're baking, it's...
Well, you are baking.
I know, but
But
it's
I'm
not a
not
cake.
making a
It's
souffle.
it's not a cake though. Is what I'm
Right,
saying. Like
right.
no matter what, if you put these ingredients into that pie and
Yes,
heat it, it will
yes,
taste good.
yes.
Whereas a cake could actually fall and
Yes.
it changes the entire thing.
Entire everything.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to pour this into my pie crust using the spatula and getting as much as I can.
We gotta save that for Dad.
Yes, if he wants to eat that, he can. I'm not going to say anything. And then I just kind of get that. He got caught trying to
He
get
did.
the stuff there. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there's mine. Now, there's a thing I always used to do, and like I would cook this for like 45 minutes or whatever, and I would go, "Ooh, it's getting brown," so
And put
I
the
would
foil
put
on
the
it.
thing in there. But you know what? I would wait till towards the end, but it's easier if I do it now.
Right.
Okay. So to keep
Sorry. Gotta take my pills.
to keep my crust from getting too brown, which, I mean, I don't think looks pretty good right
Yeah,
there.
right.
Anyway, but
The crust being underdone is way preferable to it being
overdone.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's not pretty. So I'm going to take little rims of this, and I'm going to cover.
Would you consider this giving the pie a rim job? That would be like you. Huh?
Everything's not funny.
It will be to them.
I'm sure. Anyway, I'm going to do this now. Now, in the last, let's say, 15 minutes of baking, if I can take these off, and it's easier to take them off in the oven
Yeah,
than
put them
it
on.
is to
Yeah,
put
of
them
course.
on. So, I think I kind of need one more, but there's some aluminum foil in that drawer right there, because I don't think I've got it where else. Now, some people may like it dark, and that's fine, you know, whatever. But this is another thing that I feel lots of times people want to cook something and they want to kind of leave the room and go do something else and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, I'm not for that.
I'm not for
If you're going to do
that,
that, get a crock pot.
well, exactly, because now we're on 400. Now we are on 400 for 10 minutes.
That's it.
And when 10 minutes is over, we are going to put you down to 350.
Okay.
And it is going to cook from anywhere from 45 to 55 minutes.
What's the reason for this? You want like an immediate kind of crust?
I have no earthly
Just
idea.
what Edna did, so that's what
Well,
you
that's
do.
what the recipe says.
Okay,
And
well, that
I
works
just
for
do
me.
it. Yeah. I'm assuming maybe that. I honestly, I'm sure there's some people that probably would know that answer. And I'm sorry I don't know it. I should
Right.
know it or whatnot. But anyway, so I'm going to time it for 10. Now, we're cooking that one. And just let you know, for the time of television's sake, I always wanted to say that.
All right.
I made a pie earlier.
Wonderful.
Okay.
We'll have some like some bumper music that sounds like time is passing.
Oh,
And then
okay.
the pie will present itself.
Okay. So I made this. Here is the pie. And see, that got a little bit browner, but I put
Yeah,
it
but
on.
that's the good kind of
But
brown.
that's
like a
good.
Ruffles potato chip brown. That's what you want.
Right. Now, I'm thinking I did this for about 50, it took about 55 minutes. That's why I don't want you leaving. No, I'm not saying you can't go off and
Well,
go
every
back
oven- every
around or
oven's
something
different.
like that. And every
Oven's different. I
and
found
I'm
that out
just-
with mine, that sometimes whatever the recipe says, mine runs a little hot or maybe runs a little cool, and so I just kind of have to
And
eyeball
it's not
everything.
always, and I don't know why it's not always the same every time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know. Summertime, I don't know if it's humidity, I don't know whatever. But anyway, this was about 55 minutes, and I'll tell you this. It was, you almost would think, okay, it's not done. It was a little bubbly or whatnot, but it's set out and it has cooled. Okay. And this is the way that I would serve it. I don't serve it hot. Mother didn't serve it hot.
No,
She
no,
didn't heat it
there's
up.
no reason.
No.
If people want to put it in the microwave, go ahead. That's fine.
Oh, then you mean,
By the way,
it's your potatoes.
Another thing
You
that
can do what you
people
wanna do.
that you mentioned that I'd like to talk about, a lot of people when they're cooking, they don't realize that things, when you take them out of the oven, continue to cook.
Yes, they do.
With, I run into people, I see, like, you know, my wife, I'm not throwing her under the bus, but I had to tell her this, and now she does it the right way.
Okay.
But she would take like an egg bake or a quiche or whatever out of the oven, or scrambled eggs, and she's like, I got to leave them in here till they're done. And I'm like, if you leave them in there till they're done, they're overdone.
Yes.
You take them off because that heat is going to continue to transfer, and it will in the pie as well.
Yes, it very well. So we're going to see. Now, I was going to tell y'all another trick that I had seen on television the other day.
She can unwrap a starburst with her tongue.
That's for later.
Oh.
that I saw this a couple of years ago, and I will say this, and a lot of people don't care, and it doesn't matter. But like if I go somewhere necessarily, I don't know. I just don't like
The aluminum
pan.
foil. Yeah. Put it in
Okay.
something else.
So, but you can't just go,
Boom.
okay, let me take this
Right.
out and put it in another pan. But also, if you just want to just get one piece, the first piece is always to get out of anything. Take your scissors, cut your aluminum foil right here. Maybe you want
And like make a piece.
make just do this. Now you can fold it down.
Well, look at this redneck ingenuity here.
And see here, you can kind of get your pie.
And put it in its nice little tart thing or whatever.
Yes, and now if you wanted to put it in another one, yes. Kind of cut little...
Because when people see this, they're like,
think
did you buy this?
It.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So
take the chicken out of the bucket, put it in
another
yes,
thing.
Exactly.
Which, there's not a thing wrong with
Absolutely not.
But go around, if you're wanting to do that with all of it, go around the whole thing, pull it back, and then you can get the slicer or whatever you want to get in there, and get up under there and maybe put it in another container.
Sure.
Okay. Now.
Well, since we're not doing that, I'd like to just enjoy it.
Well, I'm going to let you have a piece. Start in the middle there. Hopefully, I'm cutting all the way through. And
well, if you're not, there's nothing wrong with a sweet potato cobbler. That's what I've always said.
No, there's not a thing wrong with it. And let's take a plate.
Yeah, this is the moment here because it's look, no one's gonna fault you for not getting the first piece perfect. It's pretty hard.
You know that the first piece is kind of like the firstborn. Sometimes you just have to throw it away, and you've learned.
Yes.
And the second slice comes out so much easier.
Yeah, what's she doing right now?
I don't know. But I am trying. But I'm probably tearing it up. But
Seems like a parenting issue to me.
But it's still going to taste good.
Oh yeah, it's money. And look, here's the deal. We'll
just go right in there.
We'll just get in here
and put it over there.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
It doesn't bother me. Used to, that would have just tore me up.
Well, it still tastes the same.
Yeah, if that would have tore me up.
That's the piece you eat, and then everybody else gets the nice piece.
Exactly. The hostess just leaves that in the kitchen.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Is it good?
Yes.
And I may tear this one up too. I don't know. There we go. See, that one come out a little bit better. So, you got your fork, and cheers. And it tastes like Mama.
It does. Tastes just like it.
It's delicious. It's delicious. I hope I told everybody the right way. I hope I didn't mess anything up. But I enjoyed cooking. I enjoyed cooking with you.
Well, thank you, Mama. I had a good time too. Hey, that was it for the very first edition of, we didn't name this, Laura Lou and Corey too. How about that? Here's Lady Loveless.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Puttin On Airs, Puttin On Airs, Puttin On Airs, Puttin On Airs.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
As an adult, don't we all miss spring break? Nothing like taking a week off from all your responsibilities. Well, here's the next best thing for adults, a spring break from house payments. SaveWithConrad.com can help you get rid of all your credit card debt just like that. We're routinely helping our listeners save $5, $6, $7, even $800 a month. And you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this, but check this out, no house payments for 2 months at SaveWithConrad.com.